Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey,
Welcome. What's up, Bruce? Welcome to Tone
guys.
Talk with Mark Uzansky and Dave Friedman. It's episode 94, and we've got a killer guest with us tonight. A super funny guy, um, awesome guitar player, musician, Bruce Watson from Foreigner. How are
Hey,
you, Bruce?
I'm well. I'm very well.
AKA Jimmy Page.
Yes,
How would I
AKA.
not
On the
answer?
screen.
Yeah, it's so
That cracked
insulting.
me up.
Even the page isn't even capitalized. How rude is that?
Yeah, right.
Well, that's how you keep the trademark. From
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Avoid lawsuits that way.
Exactly.
What's happening?
What actually what that name fucking reminds me of is do you ever watch Supernatural at all? Ever in your life?
Yeah,
I have not.
Well, the funny thing is, like, when they pretended to be the FBI guys or something, and they'd go up to this crazy crime scene of whatever, whoever, they would always go, "Yeah, I'm Agent Page, and this is Agent," or different rock names, like,
yeah.
this is Agent Page, and this is Agent Hagar or something, or like,
Yeah, that's good.
and some of them were hilarious. This is Agent John and Agent whatever.
Yeah, that's good.
It's like
I haven't
they got
seen
funnier.
Right. It's like
That's cool.
hotel room names. Guys choose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The classic
Dave, can I
alias.
go out there and just say this version of your hair is strong. I like
Oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, you change it up more than anybody I know. But this is good.
This has
Yeah,
been this way for a while. I mean, the funny thing is that every so often I go, I look old. I'm dyeing it, and then during COVID I got lazy again, and I'm like, I'm not dyeing it.
yeah, no, it's cool.
We're gonna go gray, but it did come out good. I've gotten better at cutting it myself.
You cut that yourself?
I do it all myself always.
That's a nice flame you got going there.
yeah.
You got
That's awesome that
matchstick.
you can cut that yourself. Dina doesn't help you at all.
No, I do it all myself. It's all pretty much shaved all around except for the top, and then you have to just. Well, okay, let's go back in the story a little bit here.
Yeah.
There was a time in my life I was going to be a hairstylist, so I went to hairstyling school a little bit.
Oh,
I didn't complete it because my mother died, and I dropped out, and that explains the thing.
Wow. Was it in Michigan? That was in Michigan, I assume.
Yeah. It was yeah.
Wow.
My mother passed away, and then I dropped out. I didn't go back. So
Wow.
You acquired skills.
I acquired very little skills, but enough to, and then I grew up. A good friend of mine was an unbelievable hairstylist too. And growing up, and I had long hair back then. So growing up, it mattered. The hairstyle mattered,
Right. Maybe that explains why your wire work is so gorgeous. You know how to braid.
You have a rack there of mine somewhere?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. It's solid, like everything you've done. Like,
There it is.
Does that look familiar?
Not really. I don't even remember it.
Yeah, of course. And then that's on the ground.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
What kind of switching system is that?
RJM's in the rack.
Yeah.
A bunch of them.
Yeah.
3, right?
3 of them, right?
Yeah, lots of pedals.
Lots of pedals. It's great. It's the design. Like I just so impressed with how you take what someone's sort of like fantasy routing for a rig is, and then you're able to like weed out the not realistic, help shape it into something that's doable, and ask the right questions. And so it's exactly as I envisioned it, and then more. It's actually trying to be more flexible. It's been a great rig, man.
Yeah.
Quiet. All good.
So where did you use that rig? Did you use it on the road or?
It doesn't go anywhere, man. It's got weighs
Studio
5
rig.
pounds. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
there are guys that I can't believe there are people that I don't know, man. That can take stuff like this around, and then they're willing to like have it. I don't know, not work. It's just like something that complex to move it around is like so frightening to me.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, on the road, you have a whole a pedal board thing going on with the switching pedal board and stuff, right?
Yes, but it really doesn't seem quite as. I mean, it's still like modular. You've got like a little box that's doing the switching instead of stuff that's buried and not a bunch of wires. They're soldered, and
Yeah,
that stuff kind of freaks me out to think of taking that, but it's not necessary for me. So
Yeah. No.
yeah.
So what amps do you play on the road?
B100s.
Very nice.
Yeah, they work great. I mean, you have newer models since, right?
Yeah, but if it works, don't mess with it, right?
No, I have no need to change it. It works fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess I got those maybe like 6 years ago or something like that. Just guessing, maybe a little more. When did that amp come out?
And well, there was many incarnations of it going all the way back to 2009. So I mean, it wasn't that long ago. It was more recent than that. But yeah, I don't know how many years ago. Fuck, for all I know is 10 years.
Yeah. That's great.
We've known each other, I don't know since when, making music days. So that would have been the early 1990, 91, or probably around that era.
I think I would say 91, like, because I think I remember when that store opened. I knew Joey Brosler, our mutual friend.
Yeah.
And I was hanging with Joey prior to that, I think, or maybe he just got the job there. But in any case, it was definitely 91. Yeah, for sure. And you were, what was your title there?
I was building rigs then. I don't know if I had a title.
I mean, you're kind of like you were like upstairs general, sort of like tech guy who built stuff and fixed stuff, and right?
Yeah. Well, I started doing that stuff in Andy Brower's.
Yeah.
So that was before that. So
wait, bro, hold on, man. But then when you opened up,
when I moved to California from Detroit, that was 1987, and I was doing cartage for Andy Brower with Joey Brasler.
Yeah.
And then that parlayed into Andy Brower's making music with Greg Bales at Andy's location. Yeah. And then I was doing rigs by then. And then I remember doing Jerry Cantrell's rig. I remember Kurt Cobain dragging his guitar down the hallway at Andy Brower's to try out some amps.
Oh, wow.
Dragging the guitar down the hallway on the cement down the hallway.
Was it a Strat?
A big long sweater on, like this was, 1990-ish or something. Or
wow, man.
This was before the big record came out.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, right before. This was when Butch Vig was recording it.
So they were at Sound City.
Yeah, and this was before, and they came in to try some amps so they could use it. And in the end, I think they took an old Bassman head that Andy had. It might have been a brown-faced Bassman head, I recall. It's blonde, I think.
Yeah.
We didn't know who they were.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The whole world was about to change.
Oh,
we didn't know,
Wow.
Literally the whole world was about to change. And
that was a change for the better for me personally. That is like the demarcation line from when I was scuffling to when, like, all of a sudden that band hit and a sound that people wanted was a rougher sound than, the how do I say, just a more sophisticated,
right.
sound. Music just required a nastier guitar approach.
Yeah.
And so that suited me better, so God, I'm grateful for that. Yeah, really, really. That was great.
Perfect.
By the way, cheers, by the way.
Yeah, cheers.
What do you want to share what you're drinking?
Yes, the first
we promote the companies.
Yeah, right. I mean, these guys are amazing. Russian River Brewing. It's in Northern California, Healdsburg. It's a really beautiful part of the state, and everything they do is just so spectacular. And this, as I was saying earlier before we got on, that I'm not a big fan of experimental beers. I really am a fan of classic styles done really well, because they're not that easy to do well. A Pilsner or a lager is much harder to make than an IPA. So, and that's why you see in bars and grocery stores thousands of cans of IPAs and only a few Pilsners.
Yeah.
They're just harder to make. But that being said, this is an ale, and it's barrel aged, and it's like 10% alcohol, and it's just very well done.
10% alcohol. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a strong.
Yeah,
beer.
that's definitely more like a Belgian style beer.
Yeah. It is. And in fact, Dave, it tastes like there's wild yeast. I haven't read about it yet, but it tastes a little funky, like they've used sort of the Belgian approach to yeast.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree with you. I would like the more traditional approaches to beers.
Yeah.
Than the crazy American brewing IPAs. It's sad when you go to like England and then you go to a pub and you start seeing all the fucking IPAs and you're just like, what?
Right. I know.
What are they doing here? No.
Yeah.
Except when I was when I was in London last, a friend of mine who was doing amp repairs for us, by his workshop off of London Street, there was a pub that he took us to. Oh, let's go down the street to the pub. And it's a great place. And I'm like, okay. So we go in that pub. And what they serve up, and I realize they have, is the home of Samuel Smith's beer. This particular pub. So this particular pub, it's their beer, and you're getting it on tap.
That's how you
I go, I know what this beer is. We get this in the US in bottles.
Does it do
the Untap, of course, is superior. Fresh. And I'm like, he goes, you have that at yeah, it's in bottles in the US. Yeah, oatmeal, brown ale.
Yeah, it's great. It's the best.
Wow.
Yeah. Or the oatmeal stout or Tatty Porter.
Tatty Porter, man.
I'm a Tatty Porter guy, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, anything they do is pretty good for English style beer.
And the fact that it gets over here and it travels in a bottle on probably a ship or whatever it gets here, and it still tastes good. I mean, it's pretty amazing because beers get abused when they come from Europe. I mean, it's pretty hard to get something that represents what it's supposed to be by the time it gets here. It gets pretty beat up.
Right.
I was pretty excited that we were in the pub and it was the real place, I was like,
that's amazing.
Yeah, this is great.
Wow. That would be a treat. Yeah, last time I was there, Michael Bluestein is the keyboard player in Foreigner. We're pretty focused on, pretty beer centric. And we had this expert dude hook us up with a couple of pubs in the UK that have real ale, like cask ales.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a whole other thing. I don't know how interesting this is to people who want to hear about amps and stuff, but boy, it's just the natural way to carbonate a beer. They leave the yeast inside the cask and it never comes out, and it's velvety and luscious and great.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I know when I went to Germany, it was some of the best beer that I ever had.
That's a whole nother thing too. Then Germany,
right?
Yeah.
Where we had done a little clinic tour in Germany, and and every pub has their own beer.
Yeah.
We in the first place we went is Bavaria. So we were in Bamberg with little cobblestone streets, and they have something very interesting. This is beer talk tonight, by the way. No.
Yeah, man.
We'll get on to other stuff in a second. So I'll just tell the one story and we'll move on. So in Bamberg, they have something very interesting, and it's called smoked beer.
Yeah. Rock beer.
You know about that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So there's a famous pub that serves smoked beer, and from what I gather, I might tell this wrong, but the story was in whatever era, 1700s, 1800s, or something like that, there was a fire at the brewery, and the fire at the brewery didn't destroy it all, but it did smoke damage all the barley and hops and stuff that they would use. So they went ahead and made the beer anyway with it. And it came out tasting like, a smoked ham sandwich or something, almost like smoked meat in a beer, which is a little odd at first. And there's one famous pub that has served it for centuries in this old Bavarian town. And that's the best one. If you get it at a different one, it's not as good as that one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's good, but it's an acquired taste, maybe. But
there's no way you could drink like 3 of them. I mean, I think the first sip was like, what the hell? And then the rest of it's like, wow, this is amazing. And then by the time you're finished with that first one, it's like, okay, I'm ready for something else. I mean, it's amazing. It's interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, but then you go to the other pub and you get some Kolsch, or you get some some Pilsner or Kolsch, or I like the Kolsch generally.
Me too, Dave.
So
Dave,
you guys
I'm digging deep because I've got.
We'd be in big trouble, Bruce, if we went to Germany together.
See what I got going there.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're dialed in, David. It would be
So let's talk about, you do on tour with Foreigner.
Yeah.
You do a little beer or you did
Yeah.
a little beer tasting thing you started, right?
Yeah, it was called with Michael Bluestein, my fellow bandmate. We were very interested in drinking beer forever, but then for some reason, with all the craft beers, we got interested in just why it was so amazing and realizing how difficult it is to make a good beer because there's some that are kind of mediocre. So there's a certification you can achieve called I'm blanking what it's called. There's a Cicerone program, and it's the equivalent to get the end of it is the equivalent of a sommelier, like a master Cicerone. There's like less than 20 in the whole world. So the first step of that is a certified beer server, and Michael and I are certified beer servers. When we're on tour, we'll have a day off, which is rare. We'll look up a brewery, and Michael and I will go down. We'll take some acoustic guitars, set up. They'll sell tickets. They monetize it, and we bring swag, and they sell shirts and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, we do like 4 or 5 songs. And we hang out, sign autographs, and then just like hang out and party with local people at the best local brewery in a given town. So it's really fun. I wish we could sort of squeeze in more of those every year. And then as the COVID came upon us, we weren't able to do it live, so we started doing it virtually. And we did like maybe 15 episodes or so. Mm-hmm. And we've kind of let it go for now for various reasons. But anyway, it's been great. I mean, beer.
Yeah, you said you were on YouTube with
yeah, there's some episodes on there. If you look VIB, very important beers. It's a VIB event. So yeah, cool. Look up Bruce Watson VIB. You'll catch some. We had some cool guests. We had like Matt Bissonette from Elton John's band, and Greg Saran, another guitar player. Just a lot of good side musicians.
That's cool.
So, yeah, that's that.
Cool. So how did you how did you get into Foreigner? I guess let's talk music. Yeah,
it was 2011, and Foreigner was touring with Journey and Night Ranger, and Mick Jones, the leader and founder, encountered some health issues right in the middle of the tour, and the amazing part of the story, one of the amazing parts of the story is Joel Hoekstra, who's an amazing guitar player, was playing for Night Ranger, opening the night. And so Mick got ill and had to like pull out on a day's notice and was like, what are we going to do? And so our Foreigner's management went to Joel and said, do you think you could, do the show tomorrow night? He's like, tomorrow night? Get me a board tape immediately. That's his quote. Yeah. So anyway, Joel did like, I think 8 or 9 gigs, like within a day's notice. And so within that period of time, they realized they had to find somebody because Mick was going to come back, right? He wasn't going to come back, within a week or two. So they needed to find somebody who wasn't already in a band on the bill. And Mark Schulman, who was drumming at the time, put my name forward strongly, which I thank him for. And so I flew out. I'm not as short notice of Joel, but short enough to where I never want to repeat that again. And I watched Joel do a show. I flew out and watched him do his last show. And I was like, okay, that's the sub guy. He just was crushing it. Huge Joel Hoekstra fan. Mm-hmm. He was great.
Oh yeah, he can rip. Yeah, he's a great player.
He's just an amazing guitar player. And so anyway, I was supposed to come in and do it for a couple of weeks, and Mick still wasn't ready to come back. And I was like, what are you doing next month? And I was like, well, God, now I know the set. This is great. Yeah, of course. So 2011 ends, and everyone thought, well, that's it. Nice. Thanks for coming and helping us out. It was great. We'll stay in touch. And then 2012 rolls around, and Mick was still not going to be coming back. And so they said, can you start the year off? Yeah, okay. In the meantime, I had work in town that I didn't particularly want to. My life was going just fine, so I didn't need to go on the road. I didn't want to go on the road, but it was so much fun. It's like, yeah, another couple of weeks of this. Mm-hmm. How much more fun could that be? Mm-hmm. And come back to my life. It just kept getting extended for an entire year. Mick didn't come back for a year. And then when he did come back, again, everyone was like, well, gosh, it was really amazing to have you for this year. Mick's back. But Mick and I hit it off, and a formula developed where, Mick, Foreigner does probably 110, 120 shows a year. And at this point, that's not a level of touring that Mick doesn't want to do. You know, I wouldn't. So it allows him, if he needs to take some shows off, I'm there, I can cover it for him. And, you know, and when he's there, we work really well together. We split the solos. I mean, it's not like, you know, Mick comes and I have to fuck off. So he's just been very inclusive and made me a part of his chair. So, and that was coming up on 10 years ago.
Yeah. I kind of remember when you first got it and how it was all sort of happening, and like, just what you said, it got extended and then more. And this is when Foreigner was just starting to ramp their shit up again.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, they've been doing it, but they were starting to do. Yes, you're right.
More serious touring and ramping it up. So you started going from like smaller, you know, like high-end club almost settings, and then over the course of the last 10 years, it's like full-on touring production now.
Yeah, gone from like you say, that, you know, kind of like PACs and theaters to now Foreigner headlines Live Nation tours. Like, it's quite. It's been really super cool to be inside of that and watching it grow. You know, at the end of each year, you go, and then you talk to the managers, and they say, "Well, next year's looking better." You know, like guarantees are going up. You know, and it started out first. A kind of turning point was we opened for Kid Rock, Detroit. We opened for him in like 2015, I think it was. And that really was a turning point because Foreigner got exposed to all these classic rock fans, or, you know, Kid Rock fans. And it was that really kind of, I think, broke it open. Live Nation saw what Foreigner could do in that kind of setting. Ticket sales started to really increase, and so
it was just a slow build. It seemed like over year after year, a slow build, and then there was a commercial. I remember somewhere along the line. What was it? Insurance commercial? I don't even remember what it was.
Where they used just
in the elevator, and Kelly Hansen was
that was actually promoting a summer tour.
Okay.
I don't remember the details of that, but it's been I mean, the songs, I still have to say I'm not tired of the songs. I wouldn't say, if I was, I wouldn't say anything about them, but they're still just like so fun to play. They're funky, but they rock. Couple good mid-tempo ballads, you know, and stuff with horns.
And you got a great band. I mean, you got Jeff Pilson on bass, and you got Kelly singing, who's amazing singer. And you've had several drummers.
Yeah.
I don't know who the latest drummer is.
Yeah. Well, Chris Frazier's been doing it now for almost 9, coming up on 9. Yeah. But
yeah. Before that, you had Brian Tishy for a minute. You had someone else too, right? Shulman.
Mark Shulman, right?
Shulman.
Now, at one point, Lou Graham came back and sang with the band for a period of time, right?
Not necessarily a period of time, but we did shows. We did reunion shows. We've had a lot of gigs where some of the original guys will just come and play with us, like Rick Wills, the bass player, and Al Greenwood, the original keyboard player. They'll come out whenever we're in there. They both one lives in Florida, lives in Long Island, so they'll come out anytime they want and just play with us. And Lou came out Jones Beach, I think it was, to sort of like just sit in for 2 songs at the end of a set, and then after that developed into doing. Then and what was it called? Then and Now, or I don't know what it was, but where they mashed up. They did 4 or 5 songs with all the original guys,
right?
And
right.
Then like 6 or 7 songs of the new version of the band, and then at the end bring it all together. And
I thought that was great.
It's good, man. I mean, it's really good to have done it with Lou and to like eye to eye. I mean, he really approves and loves what we're doing. You know, everyone, people had there were haters that would just Lou, which, I mean, Lou was a genius, but he's not doing it now. He just, so
and he was sick for a while too, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, he's overcome incredible obstacles health-wise.
Yeah.
The fact he got out and did it was amazing.
Yeah. Agreed. I mean, I was always a huge fan of his. So, and the band, of course, and all the work that he did. So, and when I heard about that, I was quite sad, and I was like, this is not looking good. But I'm really glad he pulled through.
Yeah.
So it's great stuff.
And he's they've all been just nothing but. It's just been really great. Try to imagine how it could have turned out, and it's just like we're all great friends, and it's great. it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, the music is great. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I saw it. What, 2 years ago now? Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, down in Orange County, right?
Yeah, down in Orange County with you guys were opening for not opening. Whitesnake was opening for you.
But was it a co-headlining situation?
Well, I guess it was a co-headline thing, but it was
that night we went third. Maybe.
And Jason Bonham was first or something.
Right,
yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a great set. Woo. Wow.
Oh yeah, that was
Jason
great.
Bonham's led. Oh my God.
Well, especially with Jimmy, the Japanese guitar player. Yeah. Mr. Jimmy, right?
Mr. Jimmy.
That guy's great, right?
God.
Oh my God, he's ridiculous. It's like Jimmy Page and reincarnated.
It's the best, like Jimmy Page 72. Like it's just the best version. Yeah. Looks like him, plays the parts like meticulously, the tones meticulous, and it's just
Echoplexes, old Marshalls, but like the exact kind of thing.
He even had those black and white loafers. He had the same dude who made Jimmy Page's loafers make him those.
Yeah.
So he's into it. He likes to drink beer too, by the way. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, he likes to drink, doesn't he?
After the show, he doesn't drink during the show, but
no. I'm not saying.
He likes to get it on after the show, though.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's fun.
No, that's good. I mean, I'm a huge Zeppelin fan. Huge Zeppelin fan.
Oh.
When I was in college, I used to collect all their bootlegs on cassette. I had tons of them. Now you can just find them all on YouTube, but so big Zeppelin.
I remember getting some vinyl when I was in Italy when I was a kid. Some Led Zeppelin bootleg vinyl.
Wow.
That was one, and in fact, Joey Brasler might still have it.
Wow.
There was one double record that was a BBC live show that was on vinyl. That was a good quality. It wasn't crap. So it was because it was recorded right off, some live performance from the BBC. Yeah. And that was killer. And then I had some other one that was like almost like a picture vinyl that did not sound good at all. But
wow, vinyl bootleg.
Yeah, cool stuff.
I'm sure it was the Mafia probably pulled that all together and was like,
right.
I got a case.
Now I just get the books.
Yeah, right.
Jimmy Page books, like the anthology or whatever the last book he did and stuff. God, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have that.
No, I don't have that book. But
oh my God, you need that book. And if you don't have it, Bruce, you need that book.
I don't have it. I know it's a must.
My God,
isn't that the expensive? It's an expensive book, though, right?
It's an expensive book, but it's a big hardcover book. You will sit there and thumb through it for hours, reading everything because Jimmy has all these pictures in it, and some of them are never before seen pictures, but there's very specific pictures of gear. And Jimmy's memory and caption under the pictures that he wrote what this was, what was happening in this picture, and what this was at the time, and there's some amazing gear pictures and amazing just life touring pictures and just so I literally, my wife got it for me. I literally sat there with it in front of me, sitting on the couch, and I was hours just going through it until I finished it.
Wow.
Just read the whole thing straight through, like.
So is it a lot of studio gear inside?
No, there's like a lot of guitar gear, a lot of outfits, a lot of everything.
Well, I mean, like, because he's always been either decidedly or just because you didn't really remember, like I found him to be mysterious about what he used on certain songs. It always seemed like he's just trying to kind of keep that a secret. Or just
he was relatively specific on a lot of things.
Because that's the interesting stuff, You see him live, of course. Yeah, it's a lot less Paul and Marshall, but
he talks about it in depth. Like it shows pictures in depth of like the Supro amp and the Telly and the just all the stuff, the transonic, and it's pretty cool.
Wow,
yeah, they had a display at in New York. It was at the Metropolitan Museum, or no, whatever, wherever it was, but they had
Met. Yeah.
Was it at the Met? Yeah, and they had Jimmy's stuff with his amps and his Les Paul there. They had the Frankenstein Eddie's
stuff.
And I was gonna go and I just missed it. by like days. I couldn't go, but I had some friends who went and they said it was fantastic.
Love that stuff,
That's
man.
crazy.
Yeah, that
Love
would have
that
been
stuff.
cool to go. But before Foreigner, you played with Patti Smythe, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
And
that was in '92. That was right around, when, I mean, that was yeah, we were opening for Rod Stewart. I mean, that was probably my second real touring gig ever.
wow.
And it was opening it was Val McCallum,
Right.
Pause, great guitar player.
Great guitar player.
Amazing guitar player. Val McCallum, me, and Patti Smythe it was for Rod's Unplugged tour. So we were kind of doing an unplugged version of Patti Smythe. And it was really great. Musically, it was really great. She's a great singer. I mean, she's a really great singer. And so to have all that space and not a big band behind her, I mean, it was great.
Yeah,
and,
she's
Super cool.
Yeah, she was cool. She's very New York. I mean, she's edgy, but it's really smart. And so yeah, and I got to meet
seen
all
her in interviews.
Yeah, she's snarky. I mean, but she's witty and she's sharp.
Well, if you're married to John McEnroe,
yeah,
you got you got to be witty. Yeah, it's still.
And you got to be tough.
Yeah,
you got to be tough.
Right.
And she is. She's
right.
all that. Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool. She almost joined Van Halen.
That's
That
right.
was a true
Isn't
story.
I remember that. That would have been all wrong.
I mean,
that would have been all wrong. I mean, no offense to her, because I think she had great music and stuff, but
it would have been weird. It would have.
Yeah, that wouldn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what they were thinking with that one.
They just wanted to go the opposite way. Clearly, they just wanted to go completely, or maybe they were like, maybe we
yeah. There was all sorts of grand ideas a lot of times with Ed and the brothers, and that probably shouldn't really have been considered.
So, Dave, how did that even come into as a concept? Do you know? I mean,
Didn't Ed play on one of her songs or something, or one of her records?
That's possible.
I don't know how they became friends. They were friends.
Or
Ed played on something.
Or she asked him to produce, or something was that he was going to produce something of hers.
That's possible. That's possible.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Wow.
But yeah, I don't really remember that was a long time ago, man.
Yeah.
There's a recent interview though, since EVH passed, there was an interview with her answering that particular question and how it came about. So
wow,
it's on YouTube. Yeah, so I just can't remember the details of it, but it would have been cool just to hear it. Just
I agree with that. Yeah.
Just an audition tape or something, or a jam would have been pretty cool. But and who else have you played with over the years?
Well, I never considered myself a touring musician. It seemed like when I said earlier that when Nirvana hit, all of a sudden, commercial music wanted that sound, and that was a sound that came really easily to me. I mean, let's face it, it's easier to play and sound like Kurt Cobain than it is to sound like Steve Lukather. I think that's pretty easy to say. For whatever that is, I think you could say that prior to that, a sound that people were looking for to hire as a guitar player would be much closer to a Steve Lukather or a Mike Landau. And then when Nirvana hit, it was like, I mean, honestly, it's like, oh, well, that's the passé old rock and roll. Like, here's the new stuff. Everything always has its window of time of being hip. And now grunge is like, of course, like, classic rock. But I found myself busy doing sessions like right after that happened. So I didn't really have to seek out touring. Some stuff I did some touring, like months here or there, but I did a shitload of commercials, and I met every great musician in LA, from percussionists to drummers to bass players, because anybody would do a commercial, man. Any like rock star vocalist like Richard Page, or like, because if the commercial went, it would be a SAG, it's like deep 5 figures, sometimes 6 figures for like an hour's work for a singer. So jingles in the 90s, I met everybody, got to play with them. And so, you know, you got to establish in a non-stressful situation, you know, people that you vibed with musically and not, and that kind of sort of built a pool of people that knew what I did, and then they thought of me for that thing, you know, and so that was really great, I have to say.
That's cool.
So I didn't have to tour that much, and even when Foreigner came along, I was like, I mean, I spent so many years trying to build and solidify work in town that I didn't want to tour, so this was perfect. Yeah, go out for 2 weeks with Foreigner. Are you kidding me? Hell yeah. Oh, okay, another month with Foreigner, great.
10 years later,
it was like, it was too good to walk away. I couldn't pull the plug on it to come back and like try to keep my you know, LA thing rolling.
Right.
And it's like, so I don't know. Then they asked me to join the band. I was like, well, it was one way or the other, and I decided to go with it. So I don't regret it, you know.
So then you're an official member of the band now.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. I didn't know that.
No, I mean, Mick's been super inclusive for a long time. Like, just he's really been great in that way. It's really important to Mick Jones to have a band. You know, he really needs. I think he's smart business, but also I think just for him, he needs to have guys when he gets up there. It's like he could never have someone around him on stage that he doesn't vibe with. He couldn't even do it. He couldn't do it, which is really cool. You know, he needs to be able to groove with the people he's up there with. So, yeah. So when he finds someone they're going to stay.
Right. Now I'm curious. Have you ever had people who are upset because they come to a show and they're expecting Mick and he's not there, or is that
you'll always get not even always, but it's so rare. But there
what's up, Dave?
Occasionally, I mean, not to be honest with you, no, not anymore. The first couple of years, someone would show up and go, "Hey, where's Mick?" And you just go, yeah, "Mick's not here." And then, you know, 99% of the time they'd be like, "Okay, well, you guys sound great."
Yeah. People get over it after a while when everything sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So it was answered how the Patti Smythe thing. So Eddie's wife Valerie was a huge Scandal fan, and that's how Patti and Ed met backstage at a Scandal show.
Wow.
So that's how that came about.
Wow.
And now I actually remember that story.
Wow.
Yeah.
No Valerie jokes. I love Valerie, so no Valerie jokes there, Jerry.
I think that was a typo, Mark.
Oh, he said Valerie, not calorie. Okay.
Yeah. He said it was a typo, and it said.
Oh, I see calorie. All right, I'm like, man, that's not nice.
Yeah. I understood what he meant.
Okay.
You know,
I'm so deaf.
We're in the world of typos, man. I mean, it's just like every freaking day. I mean, occasionally I'll type someone or respond in an email, and I'm typing stuff fast, and I didn't pay attention. I hit send, and then I go, "Wait, what do you mean?" And I look back at my thing and went, "Oh my god, that makes no sense whatsoever."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Don't read that. We have a super chat from a viewer here, Robert Latham. Mark and Dave stumbled on Tone Talk and have been hooked since. You freaking kill me, LOL. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you.
Generally, it costs people money.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, it's like I think the last show we did was about old vintage rack gear.
Yeah.
Like all the greatest pieces ever made back in the 80s and early 90s,
Right.
And I swear to God, we single-handedly drive prices of stuff up on Reverb. It's happened before on the show where it's like I mentioned, hey, this pedal's really cool, and then all of a sudden the prices went through the roof.
You're like the Kardashians of guitar gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, that night after the show, I went on Reverb. I think I told you, Dave. I went on Reverb and I bought a JMP1 and an ADA MP1. That night, I was just like, all right, well, before these prices jump, I'm going to buy them. So I was like, I'm just going to jump on it. So,
yeah.
Stay Curious wants me to say, Mark, please say Meza. I'm going to say Mesa. Mesa.
Mark has some pronunciation issues with certain people's names or certain names.
Yeah,
And
Mesa Boogie.
close.
Did I say? Is that right? Mesa Boogie.
Relatively, just didn't have
Mesa?
the right flow. Mesa, yeah, Mesa
Right.
Boogie, yeah.
Mesa. All right,
Yeah.
but I was saying Meza. That was what I was saying before. Mesa Boogie.
That's the Italian version.
Right.
Mesa.
Right. Well, now there's an Italian. Now there's a new company called Meza Barba.
Well, that is truly Mesa, though.
That's truly Meza. So
yeah, that's with a Z, not an S.
Yeah, and by Nick Mars asked, "Do you dig the JMP1?" I do dig the JMP1, and particularly because Dave gave me some great settings on that, which was
and that worked, didn't it?
Yeah, as soon as I plugged it in those settings, I was like, "Yeah, that sounds like one of Dave's amps. That sounds great."
Is that good or bad, Dave?
No, it sounds good. Sounds great.
Do you remember those? They were like MIDI preamps, Marshall MIDI preamps. JMP1.
Kind of. Yeah, I kind of remember that. Yeah.
Well, what we brought up on the show that was mind baffling to me is during the time. So that was during the time of a JCM 900 amp, which was a fine specimen of. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Right.
But the JMP1 existed, which actually sounded really good. It sounded very similar to something that I would do today. And what boggled my mind is why didn't Marshall put this MIDI programmable preamp in a 100-watt head? Right. They'd have infinite sounds. It seems like they already had it. It seems like a no-brainer that they should have done that.
Maybe it was just too soon to think like that.
They didn't do it. I'm not sure why.
Wow.
Yeah,
they can still do it.
well, supposedly there's something in that preamp they can't get anymore, so maybe they can't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Rummy has a question for us. What's a good boost pedal to help give my telly get my telly comparable with my Les Paul? The sound guy flips if I touch the amp, so I'm looking for a pedal solution.
I got it, Dave. Ready?
Yep, go for it.
The Buff Puff.
Oh, the old Buff Puff.
I'm a huge fan of the Buff Puff. I have a Buff Puff, on a really old one on my sort of like just in town pedal board. Both my rigs, the Foreigner, have a Buff Puff. That's what I use for my solos with the BE100 because it's already got the gains right. It's just with a telly and a Les Paul. The telly I think would just benefit really nicely from the Buff Puff doesn't color it, but it would add a little thickness, and you can just adjust how much you want to push the front of the amp to match the Les Paul. Would you agree?
Yeah, it's a Tone Frank Buff Puff that I designed.
Yeah.
So it was something that was released. I think it might still be in production. Yes, that's good. And also there's a product that I make, the Buxom Boost, which has AEQ also, so that you can tailor it to be it could be a full range kind of normal boost, clean boost. It could be a bass boost, a mid boost, a treble boost, a treble cut, a gain boost, a tightening agent. Can be all sorts of. You'd probably love that. That sounds really good. You can pretty much coax it to be whatever you know. If your idea is, hey, I want kind of a treble booster sound. I want to put it into the normal channel of the Vox, but boost the treble up and get that kind of slightly tighter and brighter thing. It will do it. If you want it to be a slight mid-range boost for a lead solo or something, it will do it. If you have a loose sounding amp, but you want to make it a metal sounding amp, well, it's got a tight knob and it'll tighten up the low end nice and tight and boost it a little bit and make a floppy sounding amp be, punchy.
Wow.
So
wow.
I kind of took the initial idea and ran with that.
So is it one knob and one toggle?
No, well, we have it's a volume knob that actually cuts also if you like. So if you say you had a cranked up Marshall or something that was dirty and you wanted it a little cleaner when you stepped on something with a little different EQ curve, you could do that.
Oh my God.
It has a tight knob, which is basically like high pass filter, so it will knock all the low end out if you need it to be. You need to tighten up the low end a little bit. And then there's an EQ section which has a boost and cut treble knob, a mid knob that's only boost, and a bass knob that's only boost. So in other words, flat for that EQ is both the mid and bass off and the treble at half. And so you can click that in if you'd like and have it be. So it's depending on what you'd like to do with it, it's pretty versatile. And you can, if you like I said, like if you had an old Marshall and you were cranking up an old Marshall, right? So it's dirty and grungy and cool, but you want to get it cleaner, but you don't want to like roll your volume knob off right away and just want to step on something. You could step on it to actually clean it up. But also then if you wanted it a little sparklier with a little more bass, you can kind of EQ it. So when you just step on the thing, it kind of has that cleaner sound, but with the EQ curve you kind of want.
That's amazing, man. What an amazing studio tool to have on the fly to just, if you
I'll have to get you one to check out and see what you think. I think you'll like it for a variety of uses.
I think what's going to happen is I'm going to end up replacing a lot of buff puffs in my rigs.
I was going to say, well, if you got
it's it's a little different. It has a little different voice to it. The buff puff, I selected a particular chip that has this really warm and smooth sort of niceness to it. So it has its thing too. So it might just be an additional little booster thing that you kind of is a utilitarian. I can do anything with this if I needed to do something.
That sounds amazing. Wow.
By the way, if anybody went on Reverb and was looking for a buff puff, I just bought the last one.
I think they're still made.
Oh, really? Because there was only one on Reverb for $55, and I just bought it.
Oh, well, yeah, you can't go wrong there. It actually wouldn't be that cheap if you bought it, even at cost.
Yeah. So
Dave, can I ask you, can we talk about the buff puff for a second? Because I have one that I guess maybe is before it went into like full production, maybe. Because it's actually, the knob is reversed to where all the way left is full up. I don't know if that's just the design.
I might have. I'd probably just reversed the pod. It was probably an accident.
Okay, but in any case, that's fine. It's the max is very minimal. It's a very minimal amount of boost compared to the silver one that I got. You can crank the shit out of the newer ones, but I really love the fact that you can't add too much boost or too much gain with the old one. It like keeps you in a box.
Well, it's probably just a different value pot that
really
was used. So that's all it's going to do. It all it really is a buffer that has variable amounts of gain, full range buffer that has variable amounts of gain with a hand selected chip that I like just the overall tone of. Yeah. So it's all really it is.
Yeah, I dig it. It's very simple.
That's cool.
Sweet.
Yeah. So Rummy said, thank you for the super chat. Buxom Betty ordered on Reverb. Korean wife just punched my shoulder and said Dave is a bad boy selling guitar toys.
Actually, you guys should actually look in the bottom of our videos. We generally have a link to Sweetwater, and you guys should use that link because you help contribute to the show. If you like something that we talked about and that they carry, please buy it off our link.
Yep.
The link is generally on the bottom of all our videos. So please help contribute to the show because we surely aren't getting rich doing the show. Actually, we're surely almost not making any money at all doing the show.
We're surely not breaking even.
Yeah, it's
stop calling me Shirley.
Yeah, it's
we have there's expensive habits here.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's time. Mark, what are you drinking, by the way? Are you drinking a beer? Right?
Since I was a bad boy or a good boy, depending on how you look at it, the last show where I got really hammered, I'm just drinking water tonight. I'm keeping it low key.
Good for you. Someone's got to keep it together.
Yeah, I got to keep. I'm driving.
The story behind that is what was the show that we did? What number show was that with the George Metropolis show?
That was number 3.
Number 3 show.
Wow.
Okay. we all had bottles of Belvini scotch
Oh wow.
because that was the deal. We were going to drink Belvini on the air. Mark's not much of a heavy liquor drinker.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a light beer guy.
Right.
And so he had some on air on our third show. Well,
maybe
fast forward to the 93rd show, he still had some of that bottle left.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was like 3
So
years later.
3 years later, he still had that liquor. My liquor never lasts more than 3 days, let alone 3.
Not a good bottle of scotch like that.
No, not at all. And if someone buys me a good bottle of scotch, and then I dip into it one night, and then you have a couple, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And then, the next night, 2, 3. And then, the bottle's gone pretty much in a minute later.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, that was good. Thank you.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's like
So
the Clase Azul tequila. We were talking about that, right?
so
So
good.
this goes down so smooth.
Butter.
It's like butter. And
Not the
before you know it, you're like, oh, wait, there's nothing. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't have very much left.
Damn, that was an expensive bottle. I got to get another one.
Right.
Well,
The
yeah,
bottle
but
looks
you know
great.
what? I think I've gotten to the point in my age now that I would rather buy a very expensive bottle
Yeah.
than a lot of crap.
Yeah.
And I got hooked on this stuff, and it's just like painful, but it's it's not like I don't know, maybe there's a bottle a month.
Yeah. Well, that's
It's not too bad.
God.
No. Just like part of the car payment.
Yeah.
Not too
Yeah.
bad.
This is a good suggestion from
Pair that
Ryan.
with some sushi, and it is the car payment.
Yeah. Oh, Chiba's sushi.
Well, not that we ever go out anymore.
Right.
Right. All the more reason you need good tequila at home, man.
Actually, I could go out now. I'm not too worried. I got the vaccine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
I got both
twice
shots.
shot.
I'm
Yeah.
in another week. I am fully cured, shall we say?
Wow.
Well, not cured. Fully,
Well,
Cured
whatever
by
you
hand.
want to call it. Fully,
somewhat protected.
fully protected. Well, not
Yeah.
fully protected, but maximum potency. There we go.
Right.
Maximum
I was looking for what it actually was.
So we should get a Reverb affiliate link. Really, I should talk to somebody about that. We really should.
We have one. We just talked about that.
No, Sweetwater. We have a
Reverb affiliate. Is there a
Yeah.
Reverb affiliate link?
I think
Can
there
you?
is. Yeah,
Oh, that would be cool.
yeah. Equinox. Thank you for the super chat because a brother's got to support their habit.
Yeah.
we
You
we
better-
Oh, it's like actually, and to tell you the truth, lately, so I haven't really been drinking on a regular basis lately. So I mean, I've been going like, I think I made it 2 weeks without a single drop of anything, and then I think I
Slide
made
back in.
the whole another week before this show. So
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you chose tonight to be moderate and join me in a beverage.
so
well, no, I'm not gonna I'm not giving up here.
You're not a quitter.
Buff
I'm
Puff
not.
is
I'm not a
discontinued.
quitter. Never have had a problem, so not a quitter.
Right on.
So it looks like the Buff
Not
Puff
everyone
is
can say that.
That's right.
Yeah. Well, everything in moderation.
Yeah. Except moderation.
So the Buff Puff is discontinued. Ooh,
Oh, is it? I didn't even know.
huh.
Well, that's a good reason to then get the pedal that Dave was just describing to us. What's that pedal called, Dave?
The Buxom Boost.
The Buxom Boost.
It's a great pedal. I've got one.
You got one, man.
It's
Is it
really-
like a Red Llama size or like what's how?
No,
it's
it's the same size as a Buff Buff. It's small. It's like
Wow.
any of my other pedals, like the smaller pedals of mine.
But it's
Sign
got
me
a
up.
lot of tone shaping ability. Tons.
Wow.
Yeah, it's small footprint. So
Gotta have it.
gotta have it.
Gotta have that.
Robert Latham, Dave, speaking of chips, what are your thoughts on the chips used in the Marshall 8100?
Which is the 8100?
I don't even know.
Off the top of my head, I know the number. Okay, now I got to look it up.
Marshall 8100.
Yeah, look it up, Mark.
81. I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, that's
power amp. No.
Oh, it's a valve state.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea what's in it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Valve state. I have no idea either. Yeah.
Wood chips.
Wood chips.
Poker chips.
Someone had asked me earlier whether I preferred the JMP1 or the ADA MP1. I like the Marshall better, the JMP1.
Oh my God, it's infinitely better.
Yeah, the 80. I actually like the ADA MP1 for the cleans. The distortions on it are it's all right.
I mean, it had a sound and it was used a bunch, but like I said in that show, it was kind of the consumer grade,
right?
Preamp, so to speak. It was popular. It was not expensive, and a lot of people had it, but it wasn't like the pro studio gear thing,
Right. Some guys used it, like Nuno used it, and a few other guys.
Yeah. But they're also using it to like Macintosh tube power amps.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
the good stuff, not the new stuff, the old stuff.
Yeah.
With Michael Wagner producing, it's like, come on. I mean,
right.
Yeah, it's a totally different. I don't actually know what power amp he used live back then during that time frame.
I know Michael Nielsen, he did a video on it. I forget what he said was used, but so Bruce, I understand you're a big guitar guy, like collecting guitars.
I don't think I am, honestly. I mean, like I have a functional collection, just that have sort of emerged strictly out of function. I have fantasies of guitars, and a couple of them I bought just because, like I had to have this. I mean, I couldn't die till I got one of these, a 55 special, but sort of a couple of those. But I just did. If you look at it, a collection, there's massive gaps in my collection. So I just have stuff that kind of get the job done for what I do. Certain acoustics, smaller bodies and large bodies, and hollow body electrics, and so
and electros.
Yeah. The sounds that there are certain things that I've come to feel comfortable like doing, or the sounds that I like, and then there's also stuff that you, as a working guitar player, you have to be able to cover stuff, and so guitars that do that. But I mean, I would.
What are you playing with Foreigner?
Les Paul, right?
I play, of course, Les Paul. Probably half the night. A couple 335s, and some Nash Tellys and Strats.
Oh, cool.
Those they sound great. They look even cooler than they sound. And those are, they're not cheap guitars, but it's like you can take 2 or 3 of those out, and if one breaks, it's like I'm not gonna have a heart attack. I could replace it. I could replace it. They're really great guitars. Very, very
but
fun.
They won't break.
And they look so.
You could throw them across the stage and they wouldn't break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
if they do, they're just replicable.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
but really, mostly Gibsons. Mostly Gibsons. Really.
Yeah, I was going to say you have a gold top and a custom, a black custom, right?
The gold top kind of stays here, and the custom I play out. And the gold top is a guitar that was my first Les Paul, my fantasy Les Paul. There was a store in LA, started I think in the 70s, in a small place on Laurel Canyon, in the Valley, and then they ended up becoming like one of the biggest, most renowned music stores ever, called Valley Arts Guitar.
Right.
And it was LA was a mecca of guitar players, rock guitar players, in the 80s for sure.
Yeah.
And 70s and 80s. and the store serviced them and everybody else. And so I remember, man, I saved up $50 a week on layaway. There was this gold top, and it was up on the top, of three rows high. And so that was my first Les Paul. I still have it. It's like really my main Les Paul, 76. Not exotic, but it's definitely me.
Right.
Oh,
Love it.
that's a good era, though. I mean, so 76.
They can be heavy,
top?
but this is not. Yeah, gold top. Yeah.
I was just no, yeah, beautiful,
Super nice.
awesome,
Yeah,
awesome, yeah, classic, beautiful. It's funny. I was just having a conversation with John Sykes, and I was asking about that famous guitar that he's had since way back, Thin Lizzy, all the stuff he's done over the years. The black Les Paul. And so he told me some interesting things about it. So I guess it's from the right era, and I looked this up afterwards. So it's a custom. So it's an ebony board, it's a maple cap, and it's a maple neck.
Whoa.
Under that, and that era after 70, I think 5 was when they started doing that.
Yeah, mine's amazing.
And it's also weighs like 12 pounds.
Yeah,
it's also really heavy. but I started thinking about that, and I'm like going, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Maple.
He had a very cutting tone, and with the maple neck, it's going to be a more cutting, punchier tone. The maple cap, the ebony board, all that is going to and heavy. It's going to cut.
Right.
It's not going to be like soft, squishy Les Paul.
Right.
It's going to be that cutting thing. And I was just, oh, I get it. Yeah.
Right.
Cool.
It's funny. That's a 76, that gold top. And then I have a 76 Burst, which their serial numbers are not that far apart. And man, the Burst is, I haven't weighed them. I need to do that. It's got to be, it feels like 2 pounds more.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on at the time. I think quality control was probably, not that they sucked, but there wasn't a lot of meticulous oversight at that point.
Yeah. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
What year is the custom that you have?
It's a 72. And I got that off the wall at Guitar Center, and I just I don't know if I remember going and looking specifically for that guitar, but that was the thing about Guitar Center in Hollywood, for instance, like in the 90s. I think when I got that in the 90s, I mean, of course you're going to pay a lot, but if you want a guitar, you can go in there and they'll have 25 vintage SGs. You could put your hands on a bunch of the exact era of the guitar you want, and you can find one that really resonates with you, as opposed to just hoping that it's a good one. That was a good thing. That was worth paying for. I thought. So anyway, that's where I got that Les Paul. And the neck was perfect for my hand. They had a bunch of them on the wall, and just like.
Do you prefer a fatter neck or a thinner neck?
No. I've got short little Irish fingers. Too skinny is not comfortable, but I don't like a big, V.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of middle. 59, 59 Burst is kind of like what I'm.
Right. Yeah.
What you'd like to have.
Yeah. That's perfect for my hand. Not perfect for my wallet, but perfect for my hand.
Right.
And the 58s are what, too fat? Is that like?
I think they're bigger. Yeah.
58s were fatter. The 59s were kind of medium, and then the 60s were like thinner, right?
Thinner. Yeah.
Yeah.
Generally, but there's no rules I've figured out over the years. It's like you wound up seeing like, oh, this is a 59, and you're like, why is this neck so thin on this one?
Well,
or fat on this one. I mean, it was like oh, well, there's a neck over there. Let's put that neck on this body here. Let's get this out the door.
Right.
And the funny thing is, years later in production, you realize that's what happens. There's no thought in it. It's just like, well, we're out of that neck. We still have this one left over from 1958. We'll just shove this one on the 59 and we'll make a guitar.
Right.
Right. And then you get into amps, right?
This is like amps too, Marshalls and stuff. I've seen routinely. You look in the Marshall, you look in this old Marshall, it's opened up. It's in for service, and you look in it and you're like, wow. So they apparently ran out of 0.022 caps, so they decided to put 0.1 caps across the entire amplifier. Or they ran out of 100K resistors, so they used the next closest 82K across the entire amplifier, like in all the stages that 100K was going to be. I'm like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But
I guess that's why
they weren't designed originally to distort.
Right.
So clean, it sounds fine. Yeah. Distorted, and you're like, wow, it sounds kind of weird, man.
Yeah.
Oh, I see why.
Yeah.
I've found wiring mistakes in old amps, where someone just at the factory made a wiring mistake that day or drank too many beers at the pub in the afternoon and came back and finished wiring the amp all screwed up.
That's
I mean, I've seen where I'm like, wow, they put that wire in totally the wrong spot, and it's been that way since 1968. Not that long ago, I ran into this Park amp that had this wrong resistor value, blatantly wrong resistor value, and it's been in there since like 1972.
Wow.
And no one ever caught it over the years. And it was Matt Scannell that brought it in, and who has an incredible Marshall collection, and he brought it in, and he's like, yeah, man, this amp's just never sounded right. And the funny thing is, I worked on it before, and I missed it too.
Wow.
And then this time I'm looking at it and just like, oh.
So
wow.
I'm not tech. So what was it? What was the ingredient?
So it was okay. Well, I'll get techie here. It was it was in the cathode follower part of the amplifier. And the first stage of the cathode follower is kind of a gain stage. And normally there's a 1K resistor or a 820 ohm resistor there. And in this case, they put a 10K resistor there. Probably similar to the 1K, 10K. They put that there, and no one ever really caught it. It would work. It would just be cleaner, and it wouldn't be sounding quite right. And
right.
So we finally found it, and it's like, wow, there we go.
And it made a huge difference.
Cool.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Huge. Well, I mean, massive difference. Yeah. It was just like not as clean. Yeah, it was way better. But I found all sorts of wiring mistakes over the years like that.
That's amazing. That's crazy. But it's built by humans, right? So
it's built by humans, so there's going to be errors.
Right.
Remember that. Remember that when you want it to be built by humans.
Yeah.
It's a catch 22 here, right?
Right.
So I always say this. It's like everyone wants it. They want to bring production to U.S. soil, and they want to make things here. And, they don't want, machines to do it, and they don't want this to do it. Okay, but one, A, it's going to cost more. Yeah. Your end product is going to cost more. B, there's going to be errors because no one is a machine, and people make mistakes, and it just happens. And it can get through testing. It can, for a variety of reasons, depending on what it is that was missed. Mm-hmm. A soldered point on the pot was missed, but the wire was on the pot. It was through the hole of the pot, and it was making a connection. So visually, someone missed it, but when you tested it, it worked perfectly fine until it gets rattled around a little bit, and then it doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Amazing.
It happens. So, I mean, you got to remember, you can't have everything. You can't have it be super cheap and have it be made really well, or have it be made here, or
it's kind of a broader concept. But but you as a businessman who builds guitar gear. Um, people have to acknowledge what you just said, that if you want something like, oh, made in America, or I want cheap oil or whatever it is you want cheaper, or you want it done, in America, you're gonna have to pay more for it, and people aren't willing to pay more for it. When it comes down to it,
they say they want that, but then when it comes down to it, they don't want to pay it.
They're not.
So, a perfect example is, a company like Peavey, right?
Mm-hmm.
They used to make all American stuff, and then ultimately they couldn't compete with their products, and they had to go overseas because
and now everything's gone now. There's no jobs left that they used to employ half the town,
Right.
and you see that time and time again. I tell people, I go, okay, so you want to make your toaster here.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. So would you like to pay $300 for your toaster now? I'm just like a generic toaster. Like I'm not saying like anything fancy here. Just a regular old toaster. You want to pay $300 for? Oh, I can't do that.
Yeah. It's just
then you can't make it here.
Right. You need American workers.
But I want high wages. I want high wages and this and that.
Yes.
Okay, well, we can make it here and we can pay high wages, but then you're going to pay $300 for your toaster instead of $80 for your toaster or $60 for your toaster or whatever you're paying now.
Yes. Yes.
So, that's the logistics. So you can't have everything.
No.
It's an impossibility.
Yeah. And I think people aren't really tuned into that politically, when they demand those kinds of things. They may demand it, intellectually or like emotionally. When it comes down to your wallet, you're not going to want to pay the extra thing for the gallon of gas. You're not going to want to do it.
Right. That's true.
Well, when someone brings up the argument, okay, so your amps cost a lot of money. Okay. So let's get into this. So
before you do, can I just say super chat? He says, "Cheers, boys! I have a stock 77 custom, also with a maple neck, T-tops, instant Sykes, percussive. Yeah, totally get that tone with the Marshall.
Yeah, very percussive. That would be a punchier version of a Les Paul. Oh, a Les Paul is generally kind of woody. It has that mahogany woody sort of warmth and stuff. But when you add the maple neck and the ebony board and the maple cap, it's a very cutting, punchy kind of thing. Yeah. Attack. It's got more attack. It's a tighter attack.
Interesting. So it's 77. Are we still talking about black customs? When did they start making white customs? Is that 80s?
No, I think there was some in that era too.
So I'm wondering if for hers.
I went down this rabbit hole and I started looking it up. And there was also maple boarded customs.
Wow.
Do you remember those where it was a maple neck and a maple fretboard on a Les Paul?
Weird.
It was an odd bastard stepchild of a Les Paul.
I guess I kind of can visualize that. Yeah.
I remember that.
Total 70s thing, but in what I know now, I would think might sound good.
It might sound cool, man.
It might be that cutting, punchy thing, but it's not going to be that woody, fat woody thing. It's going to be a different vibe,
Yeah, totally.
So I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, Dave. So you were saying
no. We were saying, they talk about amplifiers and they talk about
it's too expensive.
Well, yeah, it's expensive. Okay. So they're made in the USA. Okay, one. Yes. An amplifier cost X amount in parts. Okay, whatever that amount is. And people look at this like, well, it costs this much in parts, and then maybe this much and this much in labor. Okay. So let's just hypothetically say this amp any product at all. Let's say you have a product that is a $300 product. It literally in labor, and I'm not saying the amps cost that. Obviously they don't. But let's say any product, you have labor and parts, and it costs $300. Okay. So, it only costs $300 to make. Okay. But you have to understand that this is a business. Okay. theoretically, yes, that labor of one person and that all those parts add up to $300. Okay, correct. That is a correct statement. But at this company, you also have someone that handles sales that has a salary. You have an accountant at the company that has a substantial salary. The sales guy has a substantial salary. You might have if it's a big enough company, you have a production manager that is kind of handling, ordering parts and things, and he has a substantial salary. You might have several techs that have to tech the product that have decent salaries, like you then also have marketing expenses. So you have videos to make of this product. You have all this stuff to make. You have the building overhead, the air conditioning, the power. You have the insurance for a large company, which is not super cheap.
Yeah.
So you have all this stuff. That all is factored. And peripheral people. You have people that package the stuff. You have people that put it on the pallets. You have people that ship it out. All of that has to be factored into what that product actually cost.
Yeah.
But then it costs that much. Then you actually need to make some profit on that.
Yeah. Dave likes
as your company, you have to have a profit. And then that goes to a store. And the store also needs to make a percentage of the profit. Yeah. In old days, you also had a distributor shoved in the middle. So you also had that cut. So if you take into factor all that stuff, that's why the product costs what it costs.
Yeah, right.
If you're a guy out of your garage and a one-person operation and you sell direct only and you're a small little company, okay, you don't have all those overheads. But you also don't have all the support behind it either. So,
you can't produce, if you want an amp like in a month, forget it,
you can't produce it like that, Bruce, if you called me up, say, hey, I need 2 new amps for this tour. We need another backline or something. Yeah. I can produce that within a week for you. You can have the amps, or we have them and you're going to have them now.
Yeah.
So, and then, then you also gotta think there's warranty stuff on this. If something goes wrong, you offer X warranty, whatever that is, and you also have to warranty these products so stuff comes back, and you're paying people to repair this, or you're doing it yourself, So there's a lot involved with the whole mechanism of anything that's made. We're talking from a Coca-Cola can, to the beer that we drink, to everything. Yeah. It's all this same operation. It's the same thing. So, people wonder why this costs this and this costs that. That's the reason.
Right.
Here, nobody gets rich from the amps.
No. And I don't care if you think it's expensive, but let me tell you, costs have been going up through the roof lately.
Yeah.
Especially within the last year with COVID and everything. Let me tell you, just everything's harder to get. I can't get it fast enough as it used to be. The lead times on things are way long, and they doubled the price.
Yeah,
because it's harder to make for them because of COVID issues or people or COVID sicknesses or the fact that it's just because of COVID and they decided to raise the price, which I think actually exists.
That's probably there's some element of that.
It's like, oh yeah, we could do this now. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. I remember back in 2008, before that, company parties used to have or at least my company party, they would have an actual company party and people with their spouse. There you go. Time for drink.
Ring the bell.
They would pay for the spouse to come and stuff like that. And then once the recession hit, or the shit hit the fan in 2008, And it was like an excuse not to do any of that shit anymore.
Right.
And,
Totally.
and
now
no one's done it since. And now forget about it. Yeah.
Forget about
But
it
now
now.
maybe people be so freaked out and hungry to do that. Maybe they'll even like spend the money to get that back together. Like 2022.
Are you? Yeah, man. Like, are you kidding? Like when tours start up again,
Oh yeah.
you're going to see record sales of fucking tickets. It's going to be so crazy.
No, I still kind of question, like, how much disposable income, because a lot of people have taken a hit, because of unemployment, for employment and stuff. But I think that's probably going to be true, man.
No, people are itching to get out.
Yeah, I think people are going to freak out. They're going to freak out.
Well, I thought that too, and I think there's a lot of people that were hurting and stuff during this time, obviously, and I feel for all those people and all the touring professionals and stuff that have been vastly hit hard with all this. But man, I got to tell you, business for
gear
is crazy busy. Like
which is really great.
record numbers of people picking up guitars and buying guitars and stuff. And frankly, I just keep thinking, well, people are home, they're bored, they're not going on vacation, they're not doing anything, and they're just like, I'm going to buy a guitar because I want it.
Yeah.
As long as that they haven't been truly impacted horribly by this pandemic.
Right.
I think I even find myself doing it. It's like I just go online and it's like,
because it feels good.
That blonde bandmaster looks really cool. I want that. I bought that.
Well, that's that's a really good indicator, because not only are they doing it just out of boredom, but it just means that people are sort of like have the time to indulge their passion. And if they're still passionate about buying guitars and amps, that's fucking great.
I love it.
I think it's great. I mean, the vast majority of people that purchase any product from a company are not professional musicians.
Right.
I mean, that the professional musicians are like, tiny little percentage of your business.
Of yours? Is that the case with you too?
Yeah. I mean, we have a lot of professional musicians using our gear, but I mean, to be honest, the vast majority of everyone is a hobbyist guitar player or a part-time guitar player. He plays, he makes money at his job, but he buys a cool amp and he plays in a cover band or something, but and he uses the cool amp in the cover band, but it's just, but he loves it, and that's fine.
That's amazing. That's
awesome.
This guy's not going to Guitar Center and buying like a $300 Fender amp, they're buying your amp. That's amazing, man. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's great. This is the way it's always been, really. It's like your professional clients are a small percentage, and your the vast majority of everyone that buys this kind of gear or any music gear is a hobbyist or a part-time or a semi-professional musician, or even totally hobbyist, like not a professional musician.
Right.
Like
there's plenty of guys.
I just love it.
Yeah, it's great.
That's cool.
James Maxwell, thanks for the super chat. Just received my NoHo 24 using the Sweetwater affiliate link. Oh yes.
Thank you.
It is amazing. I have a lot of nice guitars with it. This one beats them all. Thank you. Well, thank you for the super chat. And
I'm glad you like it.
That's
and
cool,
the Sweetwater link. You are a true gentleman. Thank you. Enjoy that NoHo 24. I saw them in person at the Sweetwater Gear Fest. They were NAMM. They were great. Really cool guitars.
What's the configuration of that?
That is a primarily it's two humbuckers, but it's a 24 fret guitar.
Right.
So generally speaking, it has a maple cap on it. So it's like kind of pretty or not. So we've also done some really cool ones that are a relict version of it, right? So one of my friends who does a lot of clinic stuff with a Sammy Bowler, he had one. He had the first one that was done like this where it was a vintage white painted guitar, but it's relict. So it's relict, and there's a maple cap underneath it with almost like a gray black finish on the maple cap. So it's worn away, and you see the maple under it.
Oh, nice.
And so, and like what we always said was, man, I love the fact that we painted over this maple top. And that guitar was insanely popular with people. They were like, "Oh my god, that's amazing!" You know.
And yeah, when he had it at NAMM, and everybody was like, "Oh, I want that."
It was particularly cool looking, and the fact I just liked the fact that you painted over the maple, the flamed maple cap.
Yeah,
you know, that's just like.
So is it like a double cutaway, or like what is it?
It's a double cutaway Strat kind of thing, like like you remember, like remember the old Anderson drop top guitars and things like that, right? Sure, like a maple top guitar, bent top, and but it's a 24 fret, so it's a little more of a like a lead guitar player shredder kind of guitar, but with kind of vintage aesthetics to it too. And it's super cool.
That's cool.
Dig it.
Jay Custom, thanks for the super chat. Any opinions on the old Marshall solid state heads? I just picked up a 1988 150 watt 3315. Not much information about them. I am not familiar with them.
Generally not known to be great, but then again, I'll never say it's not great, because it doesn't mean that you can't make it great. I've said this before in my career. I have seen people come in with the weirdest stuff that you look at and you go, "Oh my God, this is not going to be good." And then you hear them play through it with whatever pedals they have or this or that, and it's a fantastic tone. You're just like going, "Oh my God, that's great." Wait,
what happened? You coming in twice?
I got to come in again because my battery's about to die. I'm going to bail on this one, okay?
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Cheers.
No problem.
He's coming in again.
He's coming back in. There he is.
So there we go.
Here we are. Okay, continue, Dave.
Oh, that's almost better, actually.
The iPhone.
What is that? Your phone? Is it a new iPhone?
My iPad is newer than my phone.
Oh, but what phone is it?
It's like I don't know. It's a year old.
The iPhone what?
I don't even know, like 10. I don't know. 11.
Okay, it's a 10.
It looks better. That was even better.
It looks better.
It's definitely my iPad is brand new. That's wild.
And sounds better.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, it looks better and it looks clearer and sounds better. I often think this. I have an old iPhone 8, and I often think, I'm like going, you know what? I'm just gonna get the newer ones, and I'm gonna just do the goddamn shows from the fucking phone.
Well, God, man. I mean, do I look younger and hotter?
Yes. Much more attractive.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Carry on with your story. I'm sorry to have to do that.
I don't even know what I was saying.
I forgot.
It sounds better too. That's the crazy thing.
Well, this is a gear show, so this is how we're talking about, like,
it's better gear. You just put better gear in.
I'm actually kind of unpleasantly shocked. Why would that be, man? Anyway, and
yeah, the video camera stuff on iPhone 10 is awesome. So I
All right, I'll dig.
By the way, here's that 3315 150 watt head.
You know what? To be honest, I've never heard one of these amps in my entire life. So I don't know what it sounds like. So could be cool. Could be cool. I mean, I don't know. It depends on what you do with it. Do something cool with it. Put a fuzz pedal in front of it. I don't know. See what it sounds like.
That can't hurt.
I don't know what your vibe is. I don't know what your what you do. So
didn't Billy Squier play through a solid state Marshall? I thought he played through like a real
good old Marshalls Frank Levi worked on.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Neil Giraldo was telling us about that.
Yeah. I was a huge during that early era Billy Squier. That was awesome. I remember being a kid and watching some videos of this live concert. It was early on like some sort of cable channel that we had that had music. Really early on, almost before the MTV generation, and there was a whole live concert. I remember Jeff Golub and him, and they're just on this stage. It's like the dark stage is all the half stacks behind them, and it's just fucking great. Just killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it. And and then later on he did that song and sort of ended his career.
Yeah, it was the video, not the song. It was that
The video. Dancing
yeah,
around in the pink tank top. That was that literally was a very bad move.
Oh my God. Wow. I can't believe that guy. I mean, he didn't murder that guy because that guy did crush his career. His squash.
It crushed the career. And they were great. They were great back in, we lost you.
He must have
He'll
hit
come back.
Yeah.
But
no, they were a great band. I mean,
that killer Marshall tones, just like vicious. If you listen to those early Billy Squier record and stuff, and man, it's awesome sounding.
It actually, some of the tone was and the playing was very reminiscent of Zeppelin, in my opinion.
Yeah, and Billy was a good guitar player. Actually, he wasn't just the singer that was just like this fluff guy. And Jeff Golub was an amazing guitar player. So, they knew what they were doing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
What happened to Bruce?
I don't know.
We're on our lonesome now, people.
I wonder if his battery died on both devices. I hope not.
I don't know.
And let me message him. I only have his email address though.
Doesn't he have a power supply?
Well, it may take him a minute to charge it back up, maybe. Oh, here's his email address. Okay. Let me email him.
What else we got here? I'm looking. Oh, Jeff Golub, rest in peace. Yep, absolutely. He was an amazing guitar player.
I'm just messaging him. Yeah, I think there were a few questions for you. Wait, did he write me? I just got an email. Nope.
Here's one. GW Thermon said, Tone Talk Dave, who are your favorite of the new younger rig builders?
Bruce Watts.
Bruce is back.
Can't explain.
Oh, Bruce Houston. Houston. Bruce Hoots. Oh, Watson.
Watson. Watson, you what?
Bruce Watson.
Dude, you crack me up. Too funny. Uh-oh, what happened?
Oh, he's losing it. So anyway, while he's okay, he's kind of coming back. Maybe
Am I not?
a little glitchy, but okay. I can hear you.
Yeah.
So GW Thermon said, who are your favorite new younger rig builders? Are there that many younger rig builders?
Yeah, really.
That's what I have to say.
Really.
LA Sound Design, Exact Tone Solution. Exact Tone Solution, I know Barry in Nashville, and they do some good work down there. David, LA Sound Design, he's not really younger. Maybe been doing it less amount of time. And I have no idea who his O'Million Audio is. Never heard of him. So, I don't know. Here's the thing about rig building that you have to remember. You're paying for the expertise of the rig builder. If they're a young rig builder, there is no expertise. Expertise comes with years and years and years of doing it. So, I mean, that's basically it.
So true, man. So true.
It's years and years of doing it. It's just like, do you go, to the new doctor? or would you rather have the doctor that's been doing this for 20 years? I mean, that has seen a lot of cases and stuff. Did you go to the brand new surgeon? Would you like the brand new surgeon to operate you, or the one who's done 100,000 cases already?
Right.
I think the 100,000 cases probably, as long as he's not too old.
So that goes to when we first started chatting about when I had this idea of how I wanted to like lay out my studio rig, and I come with this stuff drawn on paper. I mean, it wasn't ridiculous, but it's still, there were a lot of holes in maybe some logic of the routing and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I can't. We started off the show talking about how you instantly were able to see the holes in my, the gaps, and like, well, what are you gonna do about this? Like, oh, I didn't think about that. And so, do you want me to show you what you did? Because it's not that simple. It's pretty cool, actually.
Sure. I mean, yeah, it's fine. I almost don't remember what I did.
Yeah.
So it's been. I mean, how many years ago was this? I did this now.
It had to be
5, 6.
Was it pre-4? No, well, more than 5 or 6.
10.
Could be. I don't know if it's before porn or after. I don't know, but not 15. How's that? It wasn't 15 years ago.
It wasn't 15.
I mean, I didn't clean anything up here, but I would say that I was working in a way that I was doing a lot of on the fly. Like I had a producer or some composer sitting here with me, and I'd have an idea for a sound, and I would start from scratch with every setup. It would result in something good, but the stress for me, while my employer is sitting in front of me, while I'm patching together 5 or 6 different elements of a sound that I'm 80% sure is going to work, but there's always like every once in a while you'll spend a bunch of time hooking something up, going for a sound, and it's like that's not really working. You're like, shit, you just it doesn't feel good when you're wasting the time.
Yeah, sure.
So I had this thought if I had routes that I in my mind wanted to have at the flip of a switch or already in place. So one thing I did was I wanted to have combos where with one hit of a button I could have them all on, and any point I can combine them, but I'm trying to flip the screen around. I can't. Okay. So anyway, I have 4 different combos in here, which at any point I can click them on, and that's just the back end. That's the tail end of the chain. Can you guys see that?
Hey, there's the Imperial.
Yeah, man. That's because of you. There's a Silvertone.
So each amp, each of the combos are mic'd.
Each was mic'd and ready to go. They have their own designated mic pre, and so it's just all instantly in the Pro Tools ready to go. And so I have 4 combos, and then there are 4 outputs that go to heads, which, to be honest with you, I'm not really using heads. I'm just using combos, but that allows me to be really super flexible with other chains that I can set up before a session, or and I have one pre-designated. I don't know if you can be able to see this. I wish I had more light. I have a little tiny micro Marshall that has its own little channel. Can you see this guy right here? Wait.
Yeah.
It's going through a PVC pipe, and at the end of that is an SM57. So
that's awesome. Wow.
So I found that was a sound that I was hooking up a lot, but it would take like a minute to do. So I just designated one path to have just the stupid little micro Marshall and so it's when after I've done like 2 or 3, 4 guitar parts, and you're looking for something else to fit into the mix in a space that hasn't been taken up yet, that instantly fits, and it doesn't sound necessarily like a little amp through a tube. It sounds it's filtered, so that it has a special spot in the mix.
Right.
So anyway, I just thought it was so, Dave, this speaks to going to someone who has experience, where I had these ideas and these thoughts, but to put into a rig that actually works, and like I wouldn't want to go to somebody who doesn't know what they're doing. It just wouldn't have happened,
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I mean, years and years and years of doing it, you see certain things over and over and over again, and you have acquired a set of knowledge where it's like, yeah, that won't work, why won't that work? Well, because of this. It won't do it. It won't work. These two don't play well nice with each other because of this,
Right.
and frankly, at this point, I feel like I've seen almost every weird scenario that exists. I mean, I'm not saying I haven't seen it all, but because everyone's inventing new products, and so we get new weird issues. But it just comes with experience, man. It just comes with experience, and it's like, do you want your rig to be laid out by someone that hasn't had that experience, or do you want it to be laid out by someone that really has a long track record of working with tried and true professional guitar players that have been doing it for the last, Jesus Christ, how long have I been doing it? Since like probably 1990.
Right.
So it's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's 30 years, of doing rigs and seeing gear and seeing everything,
You can't
And
rush
so-
that experience.
And there's people that will make a rig and they'll do a great job. Yeah. They know, they can get through the ground loops and things like that. But there's a concept behind it all. There's things that because after 30 years.
Like a particular pedal.
Your idea with these fuzzes that won't work within this touring rig, because you're going to have these wireless units and this stuff and that stuff. And it just, can we use something else? And to get by with this tone for you, can we use this Boss fuzz instead of your fuzz face for your foreigner touring rig? Because, or I'm just stating whatever. Because the Boss fuzz will work with the buffer and everything else. And no, it's not quite as cool. And no, it's not quite as great. But can you deal with it for the 5 seconds you're using the fuzz?
Yeah.
And generally speaking, the answer is, well, yeah, it's fine.
Right.
It's fine. I can deal with that,
Right. Otherwise, it's a whole complicated mess.
Well, you have to.
Or it won't work.
When fuzzes come down to fuzzes in touring, it's a problem.
Yeah.
So unless you're plugging right into the fuzz at the pedal board, and you're not using wireless, that this is
Right.
and rarely in your situation with foreigner, let's say, that doesn't work. It just doesn't work.
Why? Is it worth explaining why that doesn't work?
Well, fuzzes don't like buffers in front of them, generally speaking, because they're very reactive to the volume knob. So, like, I'm sure you probably own a fuzz face, right? Of course, right?
No, I don't have fuzz face. No.
No? You got other fuzzes though.
Yeah, I've got some good fuzzes. Yeah,
that are fuzz face like.
Yeah.
So when you roll down the volume on a guitar plug straight into a fuzz, what does it do? Gets this cool, glassy, sparkly thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you pull it up, and it's this
roaring,
falling over itself, breaking fat,
it's amazing,
flubbing out tone, which we love.
Yeah, both of those tones.
But when you roll it off a little bit, and then it cleans it up a little bit, it makes it a little more manageable. You roll it down more, it's even sparklier.
Yeah.
So the buffer takes all of that away. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So there's a connection between the guitar and the fuzz that kind of has to be there.
Yeah.
There are some things you can put between the buffer and the fuzz to sort of get some of that back, but you never quite get exactly it back. So it depends on what you need to do. If you really need to do that, you're going to be tethered to a guitar cord to your pedal board.
Right.
On a large stage. So you're not going to be able to go out on a ramp or anything like that. It's not, you're not going to be able to wander around.
Right.
And you can do it then. That's fine. I mean, you can put a buffer after that stuff and drive the cables back to your amps far away, and that'll be fine. So it just depends on the application. And this is where the rig builder comes in. This is where tell me what you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we have to do. Can you deal with this situation? Can you deal with that? You know,
Right.
So, years of experience.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
False nine. Thank you for the super
One
chat.
video killed the radio star. But Squire was awesome, man. Though he was. I swear to God, these videos, I remember them distinctly. I don't know where they were from, but this was a live concert that I had on videotape or Betamax at the time. Yeah. That's so.
Is it the old gray whistle test? It might be an old gray whistle test show.
Oh man.
I don't know. All I know is at the time there was an early cable variant that we had in Michigan called On TV. And On TV had a channel on its, this is early. This really isn't even cable. It's kind of cable. And On TV, there's one channel on it that played all these concerts and shows and stuff. So my friend growing up used to tape all these concerts. Like there were tons of them, man. He still has them to this day.
Wow.
And he runs a guitar store in Detroit now called Motor City Guitar.
Wait a minute. Okay, that's another discussion. Okay, go ahead.
What?
Well, I don't know. I think I know. I think I've been there. Anyway.
Yeah, you've been there?
I think it rings a bell, man.
Yeah, Motor City Guitar. It's a cool, independent music store. That's probably one of the largest stores in the Detroit area. It's suburbs of Detroit. And I grew up with him, Marty. He was my brother growing up, so to speak. I didn't have a brother, but he was my brother. And he has a wonderful store. Probably the biggest pedal selection of any store I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
Like
Wow.
You walk in, you see the pedal counter. It reaches across almost the entire store. And every crazy pedal, you'd love it, Bruce. Every crazy pedal you've ever seen in your life, you'd just be like, fuck.
I love that.
What a great look.
let me try that.
Wow.
Everything you can ever imagine. It's a cool store. And the funny thing is he always there's secret things at the store, the secret vintage stuff at the store that he doesn't put out, that he's collected over the last 30 plus years that he has, and that he's not really actively selling, but he might sell. So it's just asking the right questions.
If you know someone,
maybe there is a guitar floating around in the storage room upstairs that apparently there's a whole storage room.
I see.
And it's filled to the top, like guitars just stacked up to the top. And he almost doesn't remember what's in there.
Oh my God. What a joyful
He
place.
brought a few guitars out that I looked at. I'm just like going, oh my God.
Wow.
Like with tags on it. Because over the years, some old lady would come in with a guitar and it's like, my husband owned this and it was under the bed for 30 years.
Right.
And and he'd give her a fair price, but and not rip her off, but he would buy it up over the years. And over the years, a lot of those are cheap and now they're not.
Right.
Over the years, I'll give you $2,500 for it. Now the guitar is worth $30,000.
Yeah. Eventually, they're all going to end up at Joe Bonamassa's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true, which is Oliver Lieber's old house.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that? No. Oliver Lieber's house in the hills. I don't know if you were ever privy to that house.
The studio there and all that.
Is Joe's house now.
Nerdville. That's Nerdville.
Yeah. Nerdville.
It was originally sold to Keith Nelson, I think. For Oliver sold it to Keith Nelson, and then Keith Nelson sold it to Joe.
Huh.
Yeah, Nerdville.
Dig it.
Cool house. Horrible driveway.
To get up.
Oh my God, it's a hellacious driveway.
Oh,
Really?
man.
It's what nightmares are made of. You might slide off the side and die. Yeah.
We got a really nice super chat from Gary W. Smith. Thank you. Fantastic show as usual. Thanks so much for sharing with your fans. Dave, I just ordered a Hardtail Vintage S, my third Friedman guitar. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Hardtail vintage S's are cool. Hardtail
waiting
is a man's guitar.
That's awesome. The waiting is awful, but I know it will be worth it. Killer, man. Good luck with that.
Yeah, the hardtails are cool, man. I've owned several hardtails, and actually, I really like the hardtails. I don't know. I almost like some of my tremolo guitars. I almost want to just take the tremolo bar off and just fucking crank it down and leave it. It's a quasi hardtail. You know what I find interesting with guitars and hardtails is they sound different than with tremolos. So even if you crank it down, like I said, you know, the hardtail is definitely a fatter tone for sure. With the strings going through the body like a telly does, the hardtail bridge, it's definitely a fatter tone, which is cool. You have to adjust everything for that a little bit. Sometimes the tremolo has a tone too, though. Even if you crank it down and you're not using the tremolo, you know, it has a certain tone. It's a little leaner. So it depends on the tone you're going for, but definitely the hardtail is a fat tone.
Dave, what percentage of your overall business now is guitar sales, like guitars?
It's not that much. No, I mean, like on our scope of our business, it's not that much. But I mean, we make like 500-600 guitars a year.
Wow, man, that's good. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a
So,
lot.
you know,
I didn't realize, yeah.
I'll have to get you some, Bruce.
Dave, we'll talk.
Instead of those Nashes.
I'm not looking for freebies. I like to play good stuff.
Yeah, you'd like them. I mean, like our vintage tees and our vintage S guitars and things like that. You know, like that you're doing with your Nash stuff would be.
Yeah,
you'd dig it.
Very doable. I mean, I would present that to 400 fans.
Absolutely.
Mark Lavinish, thank you so much for the super chat. Would you ever make a 3-channel wet, dry, wet amp with 3 slots for synergy preamps and 3 mono power sections?
Jesus Christ, no.
Hey, he more soon land on Jupiter with a module than.
Okay, here's what you do. So you buy a Syn 2 and 3 slots. Well, sorry. Okay.
Buy 2 of them.
Buy 2 and then you have 4 slots.
Right.
Buy a power amp and then also have a Fryette power station. We could do a wet, dry, wet rig with whatever you want. It might be 4 space rack. No. 5 space rack, but there you go.
So, gosh, Dave, in your opinion, would that be something? Is that like a live? Do you think he's talking about a live application or a recording application?
I think he's. I mean, I'm not going to say, but I'm thinking it might be just like a
sound good, like
a dream rig for him in his house, maybe.
Right.
Maybe I'm not saying,
right.
You know,
right.
And it would be cool.
It sounds like you wanted to sit in front
great.
of it. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of a big fan of mono,
big time.
And I don't necessarily think in the studio, I mean, often you're just printing mono and you're just double tracking and then it's becomes stereo. There you go.
Yeah.
So what's the new beer? What do you got now, Bruce?
I'm so glad you asked.
We have to keep up with the trend of exactly telling what we're drinking.
This is, God, it smells so good. So we were kind of baggy. We established in the beginning of the show that we all have respect for a classic beer style because they're hard to make. I mean, it's easier to make something very exciting and and hoppy, super hoppy.
And like ridiculously hoppy beyond belief where it's just fucking painful.
Yeah. Just like
can't drink more than a sip.
Exactly. Yeah. And so this is an IPA and it's again by Russian River, which was, I started out with my first one from Russian River. This is a very famous beer, Pliny the Elder. And if you don't know this,
Well, I need that.
It's so. This is what an IPA should be. It's the hops are so
When you get
subtle.
when you get your vaccine, Bruce.
There's no plan yet, but I mean, it's going to have to happen pretty soon because Foreigner has dates booked, and
You get
I'm
your
sort of-
vaccine. I'm coming over.
You're invited. Listen, yeah, man, come over, man.
I'm coming over and having some of the beer.
Oh my God, Dave, you
I'll
just said,
hang in the backyard.
you said that out loud in front of a lot of people, so now I'm going to hold you to it.
Well, I'm vaccinated, so I'm done. Get on it.
Yeah, man. But see, then you got to drive back. So if I come down to your shop, then I am the one who has to drive back.
Then, yeah. Okay. Well, so
We'll flip a coin, or we'll do both.
flip a coin. Yeah. At that point, you're vaccinated, so Ubers aren't as scary anymore.
I'm not scared of it. Yeah. Mask up, double mask, and you're good.
Double mask in an Uber, you're fine.
Double mask, double IPA. There you go. This
awesome.
is amazing. I mean, I have to tell you this.
Bruce and I have been actually talking about having a beer for a long fucking time, and we haven't done it actually in person, other than on air now. But
It's true, man. It's true.
you know, so like we should actually do this at some point in time here.
Well, I think maybe COVID brings into focus the things that you do want to do, and
Yeah, and I want to do that because that would
Yeah.
be fun.
I want to do that.
Who cares?
We'll arrange the deal. Good.
I'm okay now. I don't really give a shit now. So I mean, like I'll wear a mask, but I don't really care now.
Right.
Even if you're not vaccinated, I'm okay.
Yeah,
Just be
I've been so careful, man, that you don't have to worry about me. We can
I don't
do
go anywhere. I haven't gone anywhere this whole time, and now I'm vaccinated. So,
do you physically go into? I mean, you're still going into your shop, right?
no, not always. So I work half at home and half in the shop. So it depends. If I have to meet someone to pick something up or drop something off or things like that, I'll go into the shop. If I'm working on amps at home, I don't go in the shop. Or Jamie works in the shop. Jamie got vaccinated too.
All right.
So he had his first one, so he hasn't had the second yet, but he'll be working on some rigs or some things, wiring stuff that I design or do stuff like that for. And then I'll be working on amps at home sometimes, or we've separated our shop in two parts now. So like we can work on two sides of the room. It's kind of crazy, but but it works out good.
So far, it's worked.
So I've been going in more now lately.
Yeah.
Um,
I think we're easy. I mean, this is going to be behind us, man.
I hope so.
yeah, frankly, I do like sitting at home working on amps though, because I'll stare out this beautiful. I have a window. I like in this room. I have actually behind me are amps that are to work on. Like that's why this stuff stacked up, and to the right of me is another like a bench, and that stares out windows towards my pool. So, I can't quite. The pool's a little far away. I can't quite see the whole pool, but on a nice day, you open the window and you're sitting there on a bench and you're working.
yeah.
Frankly, it's kind of nice. It's just like kind of quiet and you kind of focus without anyone bothering you
Right.
or no one talking to you, and you're getting stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah.
More productive.
Slightly more productive, yes, than at the shop
Yeah.
Yeah.
where someone's bothering you, like Pete Thorne.
Your neighbor of
Pete
20
Thorne's
feet away.
coming out and like going, "Hey, what's going on? What you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm working. Well, no, I like talking. You know what? Frankly, any kind of interaction is nice these days.
Yeah. Right.
Sure.
You're like start shooting the shit with the UPS guy. Hey, how you doing?
Oh, you got some new tennis shoes there. Those are nice. Eh?
Well, it's funny,
I got a really cool actually FedEx guy that's my guy, right? So when he was our normal guy and he would pick up at our shop every day, right? So we had a scheduled time and they'd pick up. And so when the pandemic happened and everything was like we were shut down and closed and most of the time and this and that. And then I got to talking to him and I saw that he was also delivering I lived right down the street from the shop, right?
Yeah.
So he was delivering in my neighborhood too. and like we got to talking and he's like, "Yeah, man, if you want, I can just pick up the packages at your house.
Oh,
And instead of at the shop, he goes, here's my phone number. Just text me
Oh, beautiful.
when you need a pickup.
wow, man.
And I won't come every day to the shop like I was, because to stop, it's you're stopping for no reason because it's closed,
Right.
and I won't come every day to the shop. I'll just come when you require me to come.
Oh, man.
And I'm like going, yes,
Win-win, man.
you're my buddy. So it's like, just text me by 2:30 in the afternoon or something, and I'll pick up either location, whatever you text me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's at the shops and sometimes at my house.
Yeah.
I put the package on the porch and he picks up,
Yeah.
and dude, he's great. And then around Christmas time, it's like I put a little card out and here, man, and there's a little something in that, well, I didn't say that, but hey, make sure you open that card.
Yeah. Don't.
Right.
Yeah. Don't just throw that away.
Don't throw that away. Don't be throwing that away, And of course now, anything I need, it's just like boom, right there.
That's so
Take
great.
anything, anytime, anywhere,
Well, that's smart. That's a
yeah,
smart thing to do.
fucking awesome.
Mutual back scratching.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, he went out of his way
Yeah.
I mean, not out of his way, but he went out of his way to accommodate the new norm
Right.
for COVID,
Right.
and he was going right by my house anyway because he's in the neighborhood, right? So it wasn't a big deal to stop. And if he doesn't stop on my normal street, then it's one less stop there. But he stops there; it's the same thing.
But how nice not
Right.
to feel like everything is an anonymous transaction. Like
Right.
just
I got to call the corporate.
No,
Yeah.
he's super cool. I mean, I want everyone to ship FedEx because it's my guy, and
Yeah.
and and he's super cool too. He goes, man, this has been hard during this. He tells me, you gotta understand, man. These guys that work for shipping companies are been fucked this last year because everyone is shipping everything. You want stuff from the fucking Amazon, and you want this, and you want that, and you want everything.
Yeah.
Everything is being shipped, and he goes, and people are sitting at home and they're deciding to order furniture and stuff, and they're shipping the furniture via FedEx. He goes, dude, I'm delivering furniture half the day off my FedEx truck.
Wow.
And he goes, this stuff's not light, man. It's like,
He's got to pack the truck and unload it.
yeah, he's like, he goes, this is screwed, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and they've shortened all the times on these guys' deliveries too, because they have to make it more efficient because they have so many more packages.
Right.
So they can't.
Well, they're swamped, man. No, I see them. I see the poor guys. They're, you see FedEx truck delivering on Saturday when it's not a Saturday delivery,
Right.
and you see, you see the post office delivering, and these odd hours. I've seen FedEx on Sunday.
Yeah.
I've seen like the weirdest stuff I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like going, that's just because of the volume that needs to be delivered.
Right.
And, the FedEx guy pulls up in the truck that's rented from Ryder, down the street, and they show up in a Ryder truck and they're picking up your package. And I'm like, are you FedEx?
Yeah. Right.
Like,
That gets a little dodgy for my brain, but
well, it gets dodgy for my brain, but it's legit because they're literally coming to my house to pick up a package.
yeah.
But I see them in just a rental van,
Right.
because the volume is so great. So they're dispatching more people to do the
Contracting,
work, contractors, and even Amazon too.
Right.
You have random people showing up in an unmarked van delivering your Amazon package.
Right.
Or your Amazon van, one of the two.
Yeah.
And frankly, I buy everything on Amazon.
Totally.
Tons of stuff.
I mean, like, I need. No, yeah, I forgot. I need that. They have it on Amazon. Click, click, click. Oh yeah, they do.
Oh,
Click,
yeah, they do.
click,
Boom,
sold,
done.
done.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
batteries. I need batteries.
Right.
Oh my God, my household needs AA batteries.
I need a
Okay.
washer for my door handle.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh no, anything. Look
And they
there.
make a special trip just for your little washer for your door.
No,
handle.
fuck, no, screw that. I'm
Right.
I'm all about
Consolidating it.
well, I look at it like if I can sit down and work
Yeah.
while something is being delivered to me,
Yeah.
I make out on the end much greater than
Right.
you know.
I want to drive and pick it
If
up.
I take a half an hour or an hour out of my time to go to Target to get something,
Yeah.
and I can get it delivered from Amazon, tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I can make a couple $100 while I'm
Finish
sitting
an
there
hour.
working.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's just the downside of it all, though, is that there won't be any place to shop.
Yeah.
It's just and
No,
that's
I don't think that. I think that's honestly, Mark. I think your shopping days of going to a store are going to come to an end.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think you're going to have virtual stores, and you're going to shop online, and the stuff's going to come to your door, and I'm okay with that.
except for food. I can't imagine food being that.
I order everything. Now from
Really?
I can't
They deliver
Instacart.
it. Though. Instacart. Yeah, yeah.
No, I order all the food now from Instacart. I literally go on Instacart and Ralph's and go blah, click, 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 click. I might do it over the course of 2 days and put everything in my card, and then I go click, okay, and I have a like a monthly subscription to it, so the service charges are nothing, and if I order enough, that makes sense, and dude, I don't have to go to the store. And literally, I set my phone next to me while I'm working on an amp that I'm making, $300, $400, $500 on modifying, and I'm just, here's my order.
Right.
Oh yeah, no, I don't want that. I want that. Okay, yeah, click, 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 click as it's going down.
Yeah.
And it seems like a much better use of my time to be working than it is to be going to the store.
No, it makes sense. By the way, Equinox. Yeah, fuck COVID. We agree with that.
Yeah, well, yeah, we have to deal with it, but I think we're coming out the other side.
I do. I feel
100% that we're coming out the other side.
100%.
I mean, in California, our numbers were shit forever, but our numbers now are down considerably lower.
Yeah,
everything's down.
I agree. I think we're turning the corner.
And well, Florida and Texas. Well, hey,
do what you got to do. Mississippi,
do what you got to do, and we'll see how that works out for you.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep wearing my mask. Trust me. I'll keep wearing my mask.
And okay, Gavin Newsom. Okay, well, he's maybe okay.
He's handsome.
Double masking is the new norm here, maybe, but
well, listen. I
don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm going to wear a mask, and
how fucking hard is that?
It's not very hard.
It's not hard.
It's not hard at all. And dude, and let's just make it. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care. It doesn't bother me. And you know what? And I hate to say this. There's many people that disagree with the vaccinations and this and that. You know what? There's been vaccinations around forever.
Wait. Taco Conk says it worked. Wait. No. Florida handled it better.
You think? I don't know.
I don't know, man. Let's not get into that.
Well, we're from California.
Okay, let's look at Florida for a second. Florida has a smaller population than California. Right. California has a much larger population.
More dense.
So more dense, crazier. If California behaved like Florida, I believe that the numbers would be far more heinous than they were. I think I could be wrong. There's some shit,
How dare anyone question the narrative?
You know, you know,
That's good.
That's funny.
I don't know, but you know what? I have had, my daughter had COVID. She recovered fine, but she lost all her sense of smell, all her sense of taste.
That's not
She
fine.
was like a chef, and like for her to do that is like losing her arm. And she recovered fine. Her boyfriend had it. He recovered a little less fine, but is okay. He was a little worse off. I know I have another friend that was very, 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 I mean, he was in the hospital for months and he got out and still on oxygen and stuff. And he's really still fucked up a little bit,
Oh man. Yeah.
And,
Worth getting.
I don't know. For some people, yes, it's fine. You're good. You're great. You get through it. You're fantastic. It's kind of Russian roulette, though. Do you want to play that Russian roulette? I'm not sure. I don't really want to play the Russian roulette.
No, when your kids are young, man. Your kids are not.
Yeah, I'm not taking that risk. For me, no. I
have a 10-year-old son. I mean, unfortunately, he can't get a vaccine. I wish he could. I'd give it to him.
Yep.
And then they're talking about putting him back to school now. So how do I feel about that? I don't know. Although since my wife and I are now vaccinated, I feel less worried about it, but I still don't want him to get it either. I just don't want, I don't want anyone to have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, back to guitar.
Sorry if this went politically in the wrong direction.
I'm just looking for questions because I've actually.
Okay, well, but this isn't political, but I think it's a segue back to guitars. This has been so hard on crews.
Yeah.
Oh my God, crews are horribly.
Like artists are in a position where it doesn't feel good, but you can. I think we can survive.
You made enough money that you put some away. You can survive for the year.
Like you're in a position where listen. Yes, this is not helping anybody's retirement or thoughts of retirement, but no one's losing their houses. I think if you're an artist, but the crews of all the bands that people go to love, that they love to see, they're fucked. And I just want people to know when they go back to see shows again that everyone's happy to be there, but these guys have gone through a lot, and maybe some guys who were in it had to get out and get a job, at their families,
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's been really, really hard on the crews of entertainers.
Yeah.
Crews, lighting crew, sound crew, production managers, assistant production managers, assistants, everyone that was associated with any sort of production of any kind. Yeah. And there is a vast number of productions going on constantly all over the world. And you have plays, you have just Broadway, even anything.
Sports.
You have the same thing, and all these people are hurting, and if you see any kind of help or anything you can do if you're in a position to help any of these people that have put up GoFundMe's or different things that to help them with their bills or anything, please do, because I had a friend of mine that was Eddie Van Halen's tech, Tom Weber. He has a GoFundMe up because he was going to lose his house.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw that and I was like, oh man, let me give him some money. Let me give him a few $100 or $500 or whatever I gave him.
Mm.
And
Dave, thanks for bringing that up, because if you're a Foreigner fan, and we have a really great dedicated crew, and but if you go to the Foreigner website and you purchase any of the merch, all of the profit at this point goes to our crew.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So
I'll put a link. I'll put a link in the video.
Yeah. So
please
foreigneronline.com.
Well, he'll put the link in the video. So,
Cool.
you know, we'll definitely
Yeah.
help out with that. Yeah. If you want a t-shirt or something
Yeah.
or anything that you guys sell,
Yeah.
please go do that. Cause it's going to benefit all the crew, man. And you know what? The crew, without the crew, the show doesn't happen.
You don't even know. I mean, people don't
At
know
all,
how much that is
dude.
true, man. It's like,
And
what
you
they
don't even know
allow
what
us to
hotel
do
to go to without the crew.
Yeah. I mean, they make my personal life so much better or doable even. I mean, I get to, they allow me to go out on and deliver the music as best as I can.
Yeah,
They're so
sure.
professional and so great. But yet they're in the cracks of this whole thing because, they get paid when they're working, but it's like, their employment shut off. There's so many people that have like less employment, but I mean, it was like a water spigot just shut off, and they're super smart people, super professional, and it's hard to see them not, to go through this.
Yeah.
Well, I hope they got some of the stimulus money that's coming.
Well, they have, I mean,
maybe.
Mick Jones has been very conscious of this, and he's done everything he can. He's a very generous person, but it's still never going to be enough to float somebody for a year,
Yeah.
So if you can go to the Foreigner website.
So do you have some dates tentatively
Yes.
in
Florida?
when?
Yeah.
In Florida?
Yeah, of course.
When?
Hello. I can't remember the exact date of the first show, but I know we're supposed to go
The
to
summer?
Florida. We are scheduled to go to start rehearsing in Florida on March 14th.
March. Holy shit.
Sorry,
That's good.
May. Can we say
May.
Yeah. March. I'm like, wait, isn't that now?
Yeah. Is that tomorrow?
It's in 2 days.
So I mean, like I think I give it a it's strong. I think it's a strong possibility that could happen. And I know the first couple of venues are set up for social distancing.
Yeah.
But the moment, the very nanosecond that
You got to get your vaccine.
Yeah,
yeah,
you do.
well, yeah,
Somehow. You got to get your vaccine, man.
it's time. I got to start getting it together. But I'm
you
kind of
figure
hoping
it
management can find some way to help us out. But anyway,
I'm sure someone knows someone to do something.
yeah. I'm hoping.
You're an essential worker.
Well, plus I'm almost 65, so what the
Well, exactly, and I'm not even anywhere close, but I got mine somehow. So
well, maybe the more gray hairs I can pull out, maybe that'll do it, man.
well, you're a lot, shall we say, blonder than maybe you once were.
Oh yeah. I mean, time
Or
marches
maybe
on.
gray blonde.
Yeah. It went from brown to peroxide to kind of just staying light. I saw the future coming, and I embraced it like 20 years ago when I started bleaching my hair.
Well, you know what? At a certain point in time in your life, there's a certain point in time that you just have to go with it.
Well, what's more
that you were earlier in the show?
Yeah.
Certain point in time in life, all of a sudden you become, I'm gray. I'm the silver fox.
And nothing's worse than when you see someone who's in complete denial, and they think that no one knows.
And they're 65 years old and they're dyeing their hair black.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, do what you got to do to like mitigate it, but
But there's the age.
Yeah.
You can get away with it for so long, and then there's a point when it's just like, yeah, that's starting to look weird.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's starting to look weird, buddy.
Right. That's why it's better to embrace it along the way than going black until you're 63 and then going, well, fuck it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. I see that. Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce, we've gone through all the questions, I believe.
I'm sure we missed some, but
I've gone through most of them. We have all the super chats covered. So
yeah,
man. And I'm crashing because it's getting late for me. But I want to thank you, Bruce, for coming on. It's great to get to know you. And I want everybody to check out Foreigner when they hit the road in May, hopefully.
Yeah.
Please go buy some Foreigner merch because, again, like Bruce said, that benefits the road crew.
Yeah.
And that is so important for everything, man. Everything.
Yeah.
This is the link.
So, please do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buy a shirt. Buy some kind of
Buy a T-shirt. Buy something. Are you a Foreigner fan? Buy it.
Yeah.
I promise you,
do it.
I will go off after the show. I will buy a T-shirt. Yep.
But and also we have some episodes that we filmed early in the year of our VIB.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
important beer. We had some really cool guests, like what you guys are doing here, and we're going to pick that up in real life in the future. We're going to start going around the country, and going back to interfacing with people in their cities.
You should make that a complete YouTube show.
It is and what it is.
Well, but a big time one.
Dave, when we get together for our beer in the very near future, we will strategize. I want to be on your level of social presence.
Because here's the thing, man. That there's the pizza guy, right? The pizza guy that goes around and second goes one bite pizza or whatever. What's his name? Mark, do you know what I'm talking about? The guy, the pizza guy that goes around and he takes one bite of the pizza, one slice or something. Someone will know in a minute here.
Someone chime in on this.
There's New York guy that goes around all over the country, has this YouTube show, and it's like one slice or something. And he comes out the story is he goes, gets the slice, comes out on the pavement, right? This is even during COVID, comes out on the pavement, takes one bite, and gives his honest opinion. He's a total New York, New York guy, right? Complete fucking New York pizza snob. And but he goes all over the country and gives an opinion on the pizza, what the thing is.
Yeah.
Same idea, man. This is a big show. That's a big show. That's makes money, man. And that concept's a good concept. Go around to all the breweries across the United States.
Well, we do. It's really great, but also kind of an obstacle is, the guy I do with Michael Bluestein, the keyboard player and Foreigner, he and I, we do this thing. And as much as we adore beer, we want it to be about beer and rock and roll, all people want to talk about is Foreigner. So I mean, and I'm happy to do that, but it's hard to launch a beer show when people just want to talk about
pizza reviews. There we go with Dave Portnoy.
I have not seen that.
One Bite Pizza.
Seen that? Go that. One Bite Pizza reviews with Dave Portnoy.
There it is.
Go on YouTube and watch some of these. They're awesome, man. They're awesome.
Really?
He goes to pizza places all over the fucking United States, and he gives this quick, honest New York style opinion of this pizza.
And that's so cool because it doesn't involve any production. He doesn't have to interview people, no prep.
No, man, it's a camera. It's a camera on him that he's walking out of the pizza place with this pizza pie, and he takes the fucking bite on the sidewalk.
And done.
Yeah. But the same thing could go for the beer.
Well, Dave, I'm gonna watch this pizza thing, and if it launches, I'm gonna give you I'm gonna buy you some resistors and some Zener diodes. I'm gonna buy you some Zener diodes.
Thanks. Oh boy. How about some free beer?
Listen, this has been my pleasure.
Oh, it's been a great pleasure.
So hang on a minute, Bruce. We'll sign off and then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah, we'll say goodbye. Everybody, if we didn't get to your question, I apologize. Just can't stay on forever, but I really do appreciate you guys tuning in. Our next show is, let me pull up the schedule so I can tell you that. Here we go. Next show is Gilby Clark.
Whoa!
On March 26th. That'll be a great show. Then April 9th, we've got Bo Hill.
Oh!
Yeah, another old time producer guy. Bo? You know of him?
No, I don't know Bo, but
You know
Gilby and I auditioned for Rod Stewart together. Like,
oh,
really?
wow, look at that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And then April 23rd is Billy Duffy
oh,
from the Cult. And then May 8th is Dan Gower from the UK.
Yeah.
Gower Amplification.
Yeah.
And then we've got more coming. So
Well, we got a bunch of cool ones coming.
yeah,
That
I
aren't
don't have
quite
plenty of the schedule.
I'm gonna I'll actually mention a couple.
Okay.
We got Wayne Kramer at some point in time.
yeah.
For MC5. That's gonna be fun.
That's awesome.
Fun. Detroit hometown. I want to hear about the Grandy Ballroom and all this fucking fun stuff. And we got Greg Fiddleman at some point in time, Metallica's producer now, and various other people. And what am I missing, Mark?
Who else did we talk about? I've got Greg Fiddleman, Charles Cilia
From Cilia Guitars in Australia. Amazing luthier, unbelievable guitars, just crazy. Doesn't get better, really.
Is he in
Like
Sydney?
crazy detailed, amazing, like makes these hollow bodies with maple tops and all this crazy. It's just like maple flame, maple binding, and just
Wow.
it's like doesn't get better, dude. It just doesn't get better. It's like the perfection of perfection.
Is he in Sydney?
Yeah, maybe.
Must be, right? Or Melbourne.
He's amazing. It's interesting because when I first met him, he's from Asian descent. So he's an Australian that's Asian descent, which it just took me back a little bit. I'm like going, wow, okay. You know, it's just like a crazy, like you're looking at him and you expect something, but then you get
Straight Aussie, full
straight Aussie. And I go, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
You know, it's fucking awesome.
Who else, man? Anybody else titillating?
Well, I know for our 100th show, we're still working on a big.
There's a couple big ones we're working on that I haven't booked yet.
Ooh.
Yeah, so we're hoping for the 100th show.
Ow! That's coming up.
One in particular, now that I'm thinking about this, that I'm working on.
Ooh.
And that has already kind of hem and hawed about maybe doing it.
Oh, good.
Ooh.
I mean, we already had Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Right.
And we got Bruce Woodson.
Right.
And then you have Bruce Watson from Big Country.
Yes.
I want to say that I'm not the Bruce Watson from Big Country. Please don't bring your records to my meet and greet and want me to sign your Big Country
Has
record.
that happened?
Not me. Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh fuck yeah. A lot. I mean, amazingly, like you know, a little slightly frustratingly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
True.
that's embarrassing.
Wow. Even though they're at a foreigner event that they
they just kind of, they kind of do some Googling and they just roll with that.
Okay.
There you go. That's all right. That's all right. Hey, you've never built a rig for Bruce Watson in Big Country, have you?
No.
So screw him, right?
Right.
Fuck him.
So Tom Bukovac, CNC Thematic. Tom Bukovac will be on. He's on the list. I've tried to reach out to him.
Yes, I'd like to do Tom Bukovac.
That dude is a badass.
Yeah, I'd like to have him on as well. So
Wow.
if anybody knows him and can hook me up with him, I don't know him.
I might know someone that knows him.
I might know
Sean Tubbs probably knows him, actually.
Actually, Sean Tubbs probably knows him. So might Andy Wood.
Oh yeah, Andy.
Have you had Andy?
We should have Andy Wood on the show. Yeah, we should have Andy Wood.
Andy, you're on the show. You don't know it yet, but you're coming on the show.
I'd like to have Andy Wood on the show. Yeah, he's great. Yeah, he's great.
Good
All right, awesome.
guitar player.
Yes. Yeah, he was great. I saw him at the Sir booth, and he was fantastic.
Oh my god.
No, Andy's like crazy, and he's a super cool guy.
So good.
Love him.
Yeah,
With
and he
us.
loves all styles of music too. I mean, loves Van
All
Halen.
styles, like he plays heavy, country, everything. Yeah.
Right.
Really good.
Right.
Good. Well, Bruce, thank you so much, man. Everybody check out Foreigner and the merch. I will put
Yeah.
those links in. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, please, and hit the Sweetwater link as well if you're going to purchase anything. And have a great weekend. And,
Cheers, you guys.
We'll see you next time.
To a
Hang on
COVID-free
for
world.
Hang on,
COVID-free
Bruce.
world.
Hang on for members.
Yeah.